live. We are.
Oh shit! I need my phone, to charge so I could be on the thing. Let me go get a charger, child. One thing I need.
We are. We should be live on both.
We're definitely live on Twitter.
I'm going to get my
YouTube. Let's see. Yes, we are live on YouTube.
Are we on the air?
We on the air.
On the air.
Definitely live on Twitter.
Hello, Jessica. Jessica, we saw the Committee Couture.
Yeah.
Got it. We got the
Better
Committee
give us
Couture.
fashions, Jessica.
Yeah. Yeah.
But please don't be out terrorizing people in your committee merch because we don't want that to be like, people think that that's, you put that on and that's the official uniform of Menaces Everywhere.
She could have on a Stanford hoodie, like that one lady. A Stanford hoodie, like that one lady who beat the girl up, took her wig, and then got the wig installed. A queen. In the Stanford hoodie.
That's honestly like the biggest marketing hit for Stanford in a minute because they looking like some real nerds.
No, it was by far
that
coughing and then shaking Cameron's hand for sure. That all credibility gone.
That is
and then remember when Shanae and NECA made that music video, Nerd
with
City?
The trees? Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, so they
needed that girl in that hoodie bad. They was down. They was on the negative end of the number line.
Hello, everyone. We got people in the chat. Yeah, y'all make sure.
No cops, Andrew? What is this?
Andrew, what happened? Oh, we got everybody. We got converted. Everybody hollering, go cops. I see y'all.
Hey, I got stock. I got stock.
Stock and cocks.
Stock and cocks, baby. I got the stocks and cocks.
Cocks are up.
Cock stocks are through the roof.
Only getting stronger. Well, we're gonna give everyone a second. Did somebody wake B up?
He's either asleep or eating Korean barbecue right now. Like those are the only two options.
He is single-handedly keeping that spot open.
Right. Because it'd be dead quiet in there whenever he's on Spaces. We hear him fine. Ain't nobody else in there but him.
Because I need that TD Jakes. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
You know who TD Jakes is, Terrence?
No, I know the video.
TD Jakes is, Greer.
I know the video.
Okay, gotcha. That's close. What's up? I'm just curious.
Tyler's not to know Tyler.
Greer, you know who TD Jakes is?
Barely, but yeah.
That's the man that looked like a walrus.
Sorry, I'm unfamiliar with your game, TD Jakes.
Don't he look like a walrus?
Yeah, kinda. Same vibe.
We thank y'all for joining us this week.
Hello, I invited you to co-host on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So we can put stuff up on
We can go ahead and get into it. Yeah, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Folks, conference accolades were dropped today. So we'll go ahead and go in alphabetical order. We have in the ACC, Player of the Year, Elizabeth Kitley at Virginia Tech. Defensive Player of the Year, Celeste Taylor from Duke. Rookie of the Year, Giannis' daughter, Tanaya Latson at Florida State. Coach of the Year, Niele Ivey of Notre Dame. Six Woman of the Year, Sixth Player of the Year, Sanaya Rivers. Shout out to Greer. NC State. Most Improved Player, Michaela Timpson of Florida State. Any surprises?
No,
no, but Elizabeth Kitley did definitely start a little slow. And she had to come on strong because, baby, Elizabeth was not giving at the beginning of the season. So I'm happy to see her finish strong and, do what she got to do to get hers.
She gives me like the Alyssa Cunane bit where she hasn't done anything to like, she hasn't had a moment. Like, she hasn't had moments. She's just consistently like 19 and 10, 19 and 10, 19 and 10. Yeah. Her season high this year was 29, and that was the last game of the season.
Right.
But yeah, like it gives Cunane, like, basically she's just going to be there and she's going to do it and she's going to win because of it.
Yeah, I think she hasn't done anything to like, help her draft stock. But again, like we've known that the ACC, when it comes to like front court depth and just talent overall, is probably nowhere near some of the other conferences, really, right?
Right.
So like, well positioned to do her thing. We know that like bigs just across women's basketball right now are just like, their entire offenses and teams are built around them and their capabilities at this point. And so like the only other player I think that had, or two other players that had like serious, were seriously contending were obviously Olivia Miles and Tanaya Latson. And Virginia Tech, well, they finished second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they finished behind Notre Dame.
Yeah, so like that's kind of tough, but yeah, I mean, Olivia Miles is playing with quite a few McDonald's All-Americans, so they are a talented team, and I know I had them to win the conference, I think. So I'm not surprised that they came out tops and that Elizabeth Kitley ultimately is Player of the Year in the conference.
I was about to say, did anybody think it should have went to Olivia Miles?
There's an argument, but I don't have a problem with Kitley winning it.
Yeah.
Like I have no issue with her winning it. Like I think you should definitely make an argument though. Like
Yeah.
I would think, yeah, especially with Notre Dame like winning regular season conference of the year or conference championship, like I think she should have tipped her, even though she didn't really play in that game. She put them in a position to win it. Kitley, that's the thing, because was Olivia hurt at the beginning of the season? Or a couple stretches throughout? If she's been good?
She like the one player that's been healthy on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think. At least she had a ton of injuries around her, which is even part of her case as well, is the fact they stayed at the top through the injuries. I would have personally voted for Miles, but I see, like, I understand why. Like, I can see the argument for either.
Yeah, and that was gonna be my only thing. Like Kitley winning out is just being available. But if that wasn't even the case, then yeah, I would go O Miles. In terms of coach, like it obviously came down to in my opinion, Neil and Cara. I don't think, regardless of what anybody would say, I don't think that was that open for discussion.
Yeah.
But Neil doing what she did, because I believe they were picked to finish fourth in the preseason.
Maybe.
Yeah, by
Why nobody wake me up?
Aren't you at your mom's house? Why didn't you get her to wake? You should have told your mom to set the alarm.
Look, I was knocked out. I was like, what is this? I was sleeping good because Aaliyah is Player of the Year. That's what we talking about?
We're in the
We
AC.
get there.
Not yet.
Oh, we doing
Calm
it
down.
alphabetized.
We doing it in alphabetical order. There's no bias in the committee.
Ready to jump off the top row.
Oh, okay, well,
No
I'm
such
gonna
thing as
enjoy it.
bias
I'm
in the
gonna be quiet
committee.
right now.
He ran straight to spaces and was like, "Where is everybody?"
Right.
You were looking around.
I was like, why not let me up? Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now.
Who would your vote be for ACC Coach and Player of the Year? Was it a surprise to you?
Actually, Owusu.
All right, B. Thank you. Mute your mic.
Thank you for your contribution, B.
My coach of the year was I had picked I honestly don't remember who I picked, but I think I probably picked Coach Ivy and a tie between Florida State.
Florida State's coach.
Yeah.
Florida State's coach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think that's like
I forgot.
reasonable.
The whatchamacallits are off, because I'm sitting there like, where's the Big 12? I can't find the Big 12 stuff, and I forgot like they're not done yet.
We do things a little weird out here. All right, we take our time.
Y'all irritating.
Oh no, y'all.
Irritating.
Duke finished second. Not BT.
Oh, Duke finished second?
Did Carla Luther King get any votes as coach of the year?
Yeah, she did. She got a lot. She was the second leading vote getter.
Which is I think that's valid. I think it should have been
Cara, and then Kenny.
Okay, Cara X.
Bro, How did the nap not make you even more chill? Like
You just woke up. How are you already like doing
bro,
this?
what?
Barbados Ginsburg said.
B, you had Ivy and Olivia Miles as your preseason
Oh,
prediction.
boom! I was almost right on the money.
Almost.
Already.
Well, now I'm really interested as to why they picked. Because she doesn't move the die like you said. She doesn't do anything that I'm just like that will make her stand out. I don't know, whatever.
That's their hope at the lottery pick. You know what I mean? Like that's the marketing dollar. That's the next dude for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, Tyler, I like your hoodie.
Hey, thanks. I got it at the committee merch shop. You know,
Looks
fits
great.
real well and everything. Colors really pop. I was getting all the attention in class today. I was wearing it like I got it last night. I was wearing it like it was like I went to a concert last night and I'm wearing the t-shirt the day after at school. Like that's how I was today. You know, committee merch came in, it was instantly on.
Okay.
Committee couture.
Committee Couture. Remember the hashtag. We posted it because I know that is hard to spell because we be doing it.
Hey, listen,
So,
I've had to Google how to spell that so many times already. It gets me every time.
I have not really gotten committee down. I'd be like,
Bro, me too. I be rereading it every time I spell it. I just know there's two of everything.
Where did UNC finish?
UNC finished fifth. Like they had a little spiral if we keeping it a bean.
Yeah.
UNC finished 7th.
Hey Yana.
Hello, Yana.
Thank you.
Hello, God.
What's good, folks?
Jessica is a menace.
God. Okay, yeah, so what you call it? Neil got 211 votes, Kara got 142.
I think that's
first team.
That's
all ACC. All ACC first team. We got Kitley, Miles, Latson, Haley Van Lith, Georgia Moore, Deja Fair, Deja Kelly, Celeste Taylor, Sonia Citron, and Alyssa Utsby.
That's a long ass first team.
Right.
So
they do this
all first,
man. All these conferences, they don't do
all 10 of them was
first and seconds. Yeah, they do like 12 team first and second
But that's
team.
dumb.
Who right in the bench in the first team?
That makes the award lose its
luster.
Yeah, like what?
Good word.
Black
like
history
like that's like,
lotion.
that many. Like, be for real.
I think it's
so that
Craig
means on the second team. What is this?
It's Chicken Express. Is this sweet tea? Is there sweet tea in there? Yes, sir.
You know what
you can drink sweet tea?
Yes, sir.
You can
sponsors.
What do you think gluten is? Why would I not be able to drink
Gregory,
sweet
do you
tea?
have our itinerary ready? We'll be there in 30 days.
Oh my God, you're right. I'm so excited.
I got somewhere for us to go, y'all. And if you know, I enjoy a good adult beverage. Sorry, Tyler, but I went to Gloria's. All you need is one swirl. I think the drink is called a swirl. All you need is one. Obviously, I didn't stop at one. I had like 3. But still, you need
obviously
that name.
Right. It was a good. It's a swirl, and I'm assuming it's their version of collar cap. What I don't know what it is, but it was amazing. It puts you in a good place more than the Swamp Thing at Papado. Like the drink is amazing, immaculate.
You ready to DD, Tyrese?
Huh?
You ready to DD?
Oh, I'll DD. Don't worry, I'm very responsible.
I don't know, Tyrese. Can you see over the steering wheel?
First off, that's crazy. Oh my. First off, I need a booster seat to drive. All right, I'm good. I'll DD you. No worries. I'll get us home safe.
Okay. So you can drive, but you can't ride a bike.
Correct. Correct.
Whatever works in your household.
Correct.
ACC second team: Michaela Timpson, Jules Spear at Wake Forest, friend of the committee Diamond Johnson, Haley Cavendier, Destiny Harden, 2 Miami players. Okay, Miami had a decent year. Amari Robinson at Clemson, Cameron Taylor at Virginia, Maddie Westbell, Notre Dame, Kennedy Todd Williams, UNC, and Taylor Sewell, Virginia Tech.
Shout out to my daughter.
Surprised Sewell's that low.
My daughter on there too. That's just so long. I just feel like it just don't hold much weight when it's that many damn people.
I agree. You got to split the teams up: first, second, third.
Sound like the whole conference to me. Shit.
Right, literally, all the people who are noteworthy to talk about. Let's add you.
If you start on a team, you make the first team.
Yeah.
Yeah, cutthroat. Said no more participation trophies. 5 and no more. I feel you though, because that was a lot to read.
5 to 7 is reasonable, but that sounded like 10 to 12 people for the first team.
No,
that's a full roster.
Legitimately named 20 people. No bullshit.
Like that's a lot of people for a first and a second team.
That's literally like the people.
Literally every like marquee player in the conference.
Yeah,
Like,
yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's literally every marquee player.
Every team's first option and their second.
Second, period. That's not like what? Like what?
Well, most importantly, that was 20
That's what I spice
correct.
One
like
of
what?
my
Nobody else
decorations up.
You said what?
I'm trying to have my mama Christmas decorations that's still up.
'Tis the season, you know.
But 20 names pronounced correct. Shout out to me. So
Hall of Fame numbers.
I mean, you kind of butch.
Actually, you said Amore instead of Amore, but I'm gonna let you. I didn't let you slide.
You didn't let it slide at all. That's
that was like 95%.
That's still an A.
What did you
That's
what
still
did
an
you
A.
what did you I just like during Black History Month? She just came from the black. She didn't like
We call it
spread
journalistic
anything to you.
integrity, holding each other accountable.
You just called me Samuel L. Jackson and Django. This is fucking crazy.
Doing on that name.
Okay. But how did the Big Ten write this? Okay, so Big Ten.
Is that
Coach of the Year? Huh?
They put it out already for Big Ten?
Yeah, they were like the second group that came.
Yeah, it's been out.
Not sure stuff.
I'm not sure.
What you say, Brandon?
So, Coach of the Year, Coach Pixie Cut. Player of the Year, my daughter, Caitlin Clark. Defensive Player of the Year, Mackenzie Holmes. Freshman of the Year, Cody McMahon. Sixth Player of the Year, Hannah Stokey. And yeah, that's it.
Who is Hannah Stokey and who does she play for?
She's a freshman at Iowa. That's who I had for freshman.
The black girl that plays for them.
That's valid. I like her a lot.
The only black girl that plays for Iowa. She's tall, like
Don't she be wearing like
40 something, I think.
I think so. Low. That sounds right.
She started wearing the poos. 2 poos.
I like her. She's valid. I like her.
How you don't know who she is?
She will be good.
Yeah, for real.
She's solid. Yeah.
She's no Cody McMahon.
Did anyone from what's the hooper hoop? The I think she's a freshman at. Dang, what was that? It's one of the red schools.
Cody. Ohio State. She won.
Illinois coach didn't win conference. I mean, coach of the year in their own. Woo!
Wait, pause. Cody did. Wait. Cody didn't win freshman year. Is that?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, she that girl can go.
That was the only option.
The only person to get it right was Yana. Preseason prediction.
Who did I go for?
I was gonna say, who are some
Ohio State?
Okay.
Michael Braun.
Craig, I'm gonna let you know.
That's
I
because
did
I looked at
update
Jazz
my
shit.
list.
You updated? No, I was looking at.
But I did get that one right. I did get that one.
Yeah,
right.
I was looking at the article that dropped.
To be honest, I was looking at Jazz for the Big Ten, just because I didn't know who was.
Not you telling the world.
We can't admit to this.
Nah, that's kind of crazy though for the coach at Illinois and hey, even Coach Purse. Like, talk to me. They had a lot of tumult in their program, a lot, and they are right there.
Yeah. Probably because at Indiana that has this season that they're number 2 and like a number 1 seed. I feel like that as a number,
it's probably in program
highs that they've exactly. It's they're breaking all the program records this year.
I think for coach of the year awards, it just depends on what you value. I just think
they're weird.
20 L's, 20 wins. Come on, I value results. I value change.
But for Indiana to do as well as they've done all season, number 2, you've taken the program to where it's never been before. You get know that.
Yeah.
So it's
I would love to know if they release tallies and like.
It's kind of like what
else is she supposed to do? But I got my votes for Brenda.
Anyway,
I do kind of feel like as much as I like Stokey, I would have been okay with. Does Brene comes off the bench, right?
Yeah, that's why
she would have been.
So then, because I feel like Maryland should have been shown love in some form or fashion because you're not like they're still like pretty much holding down the conference.
So
I would have thought that Brene, like the 2 games that she had to end the year, I don't know if votes had already been cast by that point, but I would have thought those 2 games would have been big. You just won 6th person of the year games. So I was surprised to see that didn't move the needle enough toward the end there.
Yeah, because truth be told, Hannah did lose them some games as far as
and that's what I'm asking because she did her role, she did her big one, like she's a freshman, but
she didn't stand. It was almost like they wanted to tip their hat and didn't want to do it like a co-freshman and just flipped her to the next. You mean?
Yeah, because I think Brene should have probably won, but whatever.
Okay, so the Big Ten. All right, we gotta cut some of this down because they got first team, second team, honorable mention, all freshmen.
You're okay. Next, we get to the night.
Yeah, first team.
I wonder who they mentioned. I wouldn't hear it.
You trying to hear all that? No,
come on, Craig. What
I'm not gonna do graduation.
I mean, we just said 40 names. There's 40 more.
Markira Cook, Illinois first team. Grace Berger, Indiana first team. Mackenzie Holmes, Caitlin Clark, Monica Cesano, Diamond Miller, Leah Brown,
off the cap,
Emily Kaiser, Jazz Shelley, and Taylor Mikesell. First
2
team.
Oregon Ducks. I'm just kidding.
That was the first team. That was. I felt like a lot of.
Wait.
That was just the first team. I thought it would be 5-5 and honorables.
Oh, see, okay. Next conference.
Skip.
Lord have mercy.
We might as well do the MEAC. All the people.
Okay, I'll do all defensive, and then we'll go to the next one.
All right.
Mackenzie Holmes, Chloe Moore McNeil, Indiana, Cheyenne Sellers, Maryland, Sydney Wood, Northwestern, Taylor Terry, Ohio State, Leilani Kapunis, Penn State.
Sure.
Where my girl from Ohio State? Micha Kolopakova.
What?
Not Jenna Stady.
Yes,
Jen Stady like.
Oh my God.
Michelle Michigan.
Speaking of Stady, how's she doing for you?
I remember.
Nope. She was an honorable mention. Nope. Somebody else.
With joy. Was I just blind to the truth? I just dare to feel the spaces and down.
She didn't make a team.
Darn.
First, second, or otherwise.
Anything.
I don't know that song.
Hey, you let her sing the whole.
Allowed you to make me
how you gonna tell her now? Like he was waiting to see if he knew.
Doggone thing unless you stand
right.
So,
Not done yet.
what's next in the alphabet?
This is a particularly unhinged Spaces episode, man.
It's just too much energy, too much going on.
SEC.
Did you only get to D while singing the alphabet?
Wait, what? Wait, what are we at?
It's the Pac-12.
No.
Yeah.
There's no way. I was about to say, there's no way the SEC is next.
I don't know what order the months are in, but I do know the alphabet.
But I know the alphabet. I learned that one. I know that song.
That's my
Only
fault. I
half
hadn't found it yet.
A, B, C, D, E, F.
Okay, well,
I gotta work my way through it.
Player of the year was Alyssa Peely.
Victory lap.
Big Peely.
Craig. I want the record to be shown.
Wait a minute.
Craig was first.
Did that show that purr just now?
Rashad, I swear to God, if I ever have to listen to you purr in my ears ever again, with these AirPods in, oh my God. Oh my God. That was incredibly uncomfortable. Ew. I feel violated, bro. Oh my God. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Don't do it, Sean.
Do it again, Rashard.
Yo, my leg is mind blowing.
Alright, so we're gonna put
keep me from the call.
I have
Once
a
y'all get him
question.
started, he's not gonna stop.
Does somebody have the Spaces playing on their side? There's an echo, and it's a lot of people talking with the echo too.
Yeah, I'm in Spaces on my phone.
Oh, you ain't got no headphones?
Yeah, but they're real big. And I don't know my earbuds. And I look like a square sitting here like this. Hold on, let me show you how much of a square I look like.
No. This I won't tolerate this.
Didn't you ask your mama for them
You
headphones?
gave your mom to buy those. You better use those damn headphones.
Put them
You got
headphones
games on
on.
your phone?
Is them AirPod Max? I mean, AirPod Maxes. What the fuck am I talking about?
What?
This segment is sponsored by Beats AirPod Max. I mean,
Yeah, we watch.
God,
Okay, I got headphones.
Put pressure on to get them headphones. You better wear them headphones mama bought you.
Period.
You
Alright,
have
so-
your whole influence. Peer pressure hurt.
We're at the Pac-12, folks. Coach of the year, Lynn Roberts for Utah.
Valid.
I feel like well deserved.
Mhm.
Co-most improved player of the year, Shayna Pellington from Arizona. Co-most improved player of the year, Arnett Vonley from Colorado. Andrew, is that right?
Internet Vonley, yeah.
Arnett Vonley, yeah.
Any relation to Noah?
You know, I've always wondered that, but I don't think so because she did her high school ball in Oregon. So I don't think that there is a relation there.
Did he ever play for the Blazers?
Didn't he play for Portland?
He did, but I
don't know the timeline of it, but I thought he played in Portland.
Of course,
Just
the
a
Pac-12
straight
shows up right as I got to do my 5 o'clock thing. I'll be back.
Oh,
Right.
big boss
Okay.
man.
Shoveling snow and shit.
We love
Crazy.
local journalism.
Pac-12 encyclopedia.
Freshman and sixth player of the year, Reagan Beers at Oregon State. Defensive player of the year, Cameron Brink.
Yep.
And then, of course, your player of the year, Alyssa Peely of Utah.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
What was the fuss with Beers?
I don't think there was really any fuss. I think
not widespread, at least.
It's like, oh damn.
Yeah.
I don't know that people were expecting that. Well, particularly maybe that 6th woman of the year. Freshman, yeah, certainly had a super, super strong case along with 2 other people. But I think people were just like, oh shit. That's like saying she's, one of the best players in the conference, basically,
Yeah.
Honestly, when she hooping because she got a couple conference player of the week. So it's like, not far-fetched to me.
Yeah, I ain't got no.
I think if Cara would have played Betts more, we might have had a different conversation, but she didn't, so we're not.
Yeah, I mean, and I, obviously Kiki. I think Kiki should have been considered for that award as well. I think London Jones had a great case for that award too. Both guards out of UCLA, and I'm missing one. Yeah, Grace out of Oregon for sure.
I would go Kiki and Grace because London was kind of she'd have a really like solid game and then she'd go like scoreless next like 1 or 2. So just off consistency, like yeah, those would be my top 3. But I don't mind it. Shout out to Pac-12.
I only say London because she played both sides of. My bad. I was saying I only say because I feel like she plays both sides of the floor. That's it.
Good shit.
Works for me. I don't have no quarrels with any of those.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what she was like projected coming into college, where Reagan Beers was in their class last year, seniors, but I know that Kiki was number 1 and Reagan played better than her, straight up.
Yeah.
And Kiki was number 1, period, not just in the conference and country. So she had her flashes this year, but I'm sure, her team's headed to the top, but I'm sure she wanted to play better,
Yeah, she gotta get that jumper going.
Immediately. Immediately.
All the tools are there. She's gotta be able to make a shot.
All right. Now the SEC. Sorry, I jumped the gun. Hey man, almost a clean sweep. You got your player of the year, Aaliyah Boston. Freshman of the year, Flage at LSU. Shout out to her. Defensive player of the year, Aaliyah Boston. You got 6th woman of the year, Killer Camilla Cardosa. You got Scholar Athlete of the Year, Hannah Barber at Alabama. Shout out.
Nerd.
And then last but not least, you got your coach of the year, Don Staley, USC. Go Cox. I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it. So obviously this was the most debated one on the internet, Twitter.com specifically. And people kind of thought Angel Reese would have had it sewn up just off the sheer strength of her numbers. But it's kind of like Moki did her no favors by not allowing us to see her against top competition. Because when you have that head-to-head matchup and, you have your worst game of the season, then it's kind of like we don't have anything to go off of to see if this is an anomaly or if this was just like the better chick won here. And then when, no knock to the SEC because they got some bigs, but like they don't have enough to where we can say like this was a one-off, so it is what it is. So I mean, next year get your coach to don't run from the grind. I don't know what to tell you.
Moki ain't gonna ever do that because I keep saying she didn't do that at Baylor when she had better bigs, so she ain't gonna do it now.
Yeah, I just feel like
should have transferred somewhere else.
I feel like the whole situation allows them to be mad at everybody else, the powers that be, the people who chose. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, like you said, her coach just didn't make a tough enough schedule to where we've seen her against another big. So it came if you want that, you got to go take it. If somebody already sitting on the throne, you got to go take it from them. And when you walked up to the girl, the girlie who was already sitting on the throne, you folded. And it's unfortunate and it sounds bad, but it's just like that kind of is what it is. And then the points that you did have it were kind of at the end, like I don't want to say trash buckets, but kinda. So it's just kind of like I don't know what people expect. And what I will say is I do think Angel has brought a lot of casual fans to the game. And I just feel like
hold on a second, we got an echo. Real quick, we got an echo. I don't know. Because you were starting to cook, and I wanted to.
Let me see.
I wanted to be clear.
So I just said I think Angel has also brought a lot of casual fans or fans who don't know exactly. So I think there is a lane for them, but at this point, when you start having a conversation about this or that, then you got to shut up because you don't exactly know what it is. Well, look at her stats. Okay, well she played 10 less minutes. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
Yeah, and then I hate when I see Angel play, we might have one or two people face guarding her, right? Sure. When people play Aaliyah, them babies switched the whole damn defense. You know what I mean? So even the coaches of the SEC have decided
this is our main priority.
Yeah,
exactly. And like it's 3 to 4 players guarding Aaliyah when
so
like, people play South Carolina.
It's just kind of like I don't know when you had. Now I do think
about
if she would
tomorrow.
If she would have performed really well against SC, I think we could have seen the co-player of the year. I still don't think they would have given it to her outright, but I do think we could have seen a co-player of the year type vibe. But when she went, I think it was decided that game, if I'm going to keep it a buck. And I do think some people are being a little disingenuous because you're not going to tell me if this was a situation, and I tweeted it with Anissa Morrow and Aaliyah Edwards, and Anissa Morrow was doing this, that, and the third, putting up all these gaudy numbers, but Aaliyah might not be, and her usage is not this, that you would say, oh, yes, give it to Anissa Morrow. I just want everybody to be for real, and I want everybody to, what happened was, and I'm going to call a spade, y'all had these tweets ready in y'all draft just to diss South Carolina because y'all nobody don't give a damn about no LSU. Everybody on the whole app of Twitter has been against LSU from day one, but now with so many think pieces, and Angel should have did this, and Angel should have did that. But at the very end of the day, you were just preying on South Carolina's demise. You don't give a damn about no Angel Reese.
I like when they root for LSU because that just means that more teams in the SEC should be in the tournament.
Yeah, I just, a lot of it is just disingenuous, and it was just Aaliyah's award. If you ain't gonna take, you not gonna knock a bad bitch off her throne, baby. Just because you're walking around, this once again, I hate that. I don't mean this as shade, but just because you're walking around saying that you are the queen of the SEC doesn't mean that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Just because you say it don't mean it's true, baby. It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. You got to go take that shit from the woman that is the queen, baby. And when you had the opportunity to snatch that bitch, you did it. Now, if we get to the SEC tournament, I mean, the award's already given out. But if you have a better game, then cool. But you don't just get to be that because you said you're that. And that just is what it is.
And that's on the coach.
It's on the clock here.
Yes, that's on the coach. It's not her fault. It's on the coach.
Your key player, you left your star one chance, one opportunity to show out in front of everybody, and now you just robbed her of a chance to have
against the player that she needed to jump over on top of it.
Yeah,
not just elite bigs across the country, right?
She performed better against South Carolina when she was at Maryland compared to LSU as well.
And I also think wait.
Coach first needs to be coach of the year this year and last year.
You said what?
Brenda was robbed coach of the year 2 years in a row.
And it's not like last year where Aaliyah won. I'm pretty sure she won unanimous.
Lowe's point, right?
Yeah, it wasn't unanimous. That last year it was.
Last year it was. It wasn't this year. Like voters recognize Angel, and again, she's gonna be she is on the first team All SEC. She will be an All American, but when the whole defense is scheming around one player, okay, and like changing what they've done 30 other games for this one game, that says something.
Right.
And she never had her moment.
The numbers are.
Go ahead, Rashad.
I was saying her numbers are literally down due to that. Like the teams, focusing their entire defense on her. Like that's why her numbers are really down. It's not even like, okay, this player is getting a chance because everybody getting the same minutes every single game. And if the game is really important, she's gonna be in the game for that whole damn game. So it's really just her numbers down because of the fact that she's getting triple team, double team, and we see that in multiple games.
And again, I just also want to add, because people swear like committee is this and this, we are not hating on what Angel Reese has accomplished. We think Angel Reese has been in her bag all season long. But when it comes to a head-to-head, and you, like I said, you're trying to take a bad bitch off her throne, you have to take it. You did, and I just don't know where after that, like you said, Greer, when it's the player that won the award, won the National Player of the Year award last year, that's that girl. It's not just any other big baby. You got an opportunity to show up against that girl, and you didn't.
It's not even just that one.
Is this a must? What is this?
What is going on over here?
What is this nigga doing?
What is she doing?
Is that a pole cue?
What is going on?
It's the crowbar.
Yeah, the ratchet.
Are you in Brenda's office still?
I'm building a pool table. Mind your business. Y'all know I'm always building something.
You building a pool table?
Leave me alone. Continue
Well, we
with the
appreciate you
conversation.
not wearing your bikini this time.
The tube out.
Leave me alone.
Oh my god.
I'm dead. No, but
How you been?
I really thought it was a musket.
So yeah, I just overall, I think like we all have said a plethora of times, like Kim Mulkey just didn't do her any favors by making the schedule. And I know Kim didn't know that she would have her, but at the very end of the day, you are a Power 5 team. You are a Hall of Fame coach. Your schedule should have been fucking better. And that's, to me, that's what's biting her in the ass. It's not Angel's fault. It's not. She did what she had to do. She just had it. And the thing is, do I think Angel could play better? Absolutely. But she has never been tested to the point this season to where she had to. So maybe those skills you're not really working on. Mindset you're not doing this and this because you haven't had to get in your bag in that sense this season. You know what I mean? Because I think Angel could have a better showing than that. I'm sure she can. But when it's the first time of the season, I understand. Her coach just didn't do
piggyback off of that. I feel like it's not only Moki's fault, but it's, to me, the media's fault. Because I feel like the last couple years, they've been so busy playing in Aaliyah's face that people don't fully understand how great she is. Because like Lo said, there is absolutely a need for the casual fans. And I think it's great that she has the following that she has on TikTok and stuff. But the last couple years, we've seen Caitlyn highlights get, publicized, as they should, because they're great. But it's then you hype that up and all we see of Aaliyah is her crying. And that's why we told y'all stop running that fucking clip, because it was stupid and you were doing her a disservice. So now we got to sit here and have these arguments and say well, actually, she does this, 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 and this. When if you had done your job to begin with, people would understand okay, this is, player A. She is the reigning player of the year. She's that girl. This is player B, the newcomer, trying to, like you said, knock her off. But because you only see her every time she comes up, it's against a player with gaudier numbers or with more highlights or more clips and this, that, the third. So I'm kind of hot at the media because I'm tired of having to defend Aaliyah every time this comes up, and I'm tired of her having to have her moment kind of sullied by all of these stupid arguments that are not as productive as they could be.
Aaliyah never has an argument where it's Aaliyah on the positive. It's always us defending Aaliyah. No, Aaliyah's this. No, Aaliyah, why the hell do we have to fight tooth and nail to defend someone like Aaliyah motherfucking?
Who's going to be the number one pick? Who's going to be the number one pick and most likely the rookie of the year?
You see her move to the 4, which is Angel Reese's natural position, and she still is outbodying every big, in the SEC, which Angel's battling. It's going back and forth. With Aaliyah, it wasn't a back and forth. You're not scoring and I'm going to score. With Angel, it was it was back and forth. And sometimes let's be honest, sometimes Angel's supporting cast have to come and step in and help. That
right, and also instead of just be all right, congrats. So just not saying nothing. You got people over here arguing on both awards, the player of the year, defensive player of the year. Aaliyah is doing everything that they're saying Angel is doing. She's guarding the 1, she's guarding the 2, she's guarding multiple positions. She's doing literally everything. So it was
what's the stat? What's the stat where she's touting both? And she's the only player in the country like that. That is crazy.
There's stats to back it up. It's just I don't know. And
my
on
issue
top of that,
with
you can't call us Angel haters. We literally had her on the spaces and had a whole discussion with.
Come on, no taker.
I need the paper. My issue with
here's the other thing.
Go ahead, Andrew.
My thing is this: if you were to blind poll the SEC coaches and ask them which player would they rather have, you know who they'd pick. And that's the other component to this is the basketball minds are the ones telling you this is the best player in the conference, the reigning best player in the country. And at some point, like
Current,
you got to
too.
trust the people that know the game.
I feel like causing problems for no reason. Ask Moki who she would rather have. If she could just go back and recruit and have an equal chance, who would she rather have?
My issue with the Moki and the scheduling thing about like, oh, I don't know who I have, because you know who don't never know who they gonna have on their team? Brenda. And guess what she do? She say, we about to pack your bags. We gonna go play South Carolina and lose by 30. I don't give a shit who playing. It could be me, Grizz, Shawnee, and Lo. We going down there to play. It do not matter.
We gonna whoop some ass.
I don't really
Yeah.
True.
No, you're right. And that leads me to kind of my next question. Do
Wait,
y'all think like
hold on. I see a comment that says we say a lot that isn't a player's fault, but didn't they know the schedule when they committed to go there? That doesn't make it their fault, but they could have gone somewhere else if they want to play tougher competition. Okay, I don't think that's fair for Angel, because I'm trying to go somewhere that put me on a national stage and make sure I'm good in the future and to make my money now. So sure, but I don't think that's fair. I think she just made the
also
decision.
we've been kind of like we've been urging the kids to do their homework about coaches and styles and play, you know, what kind of offenses they run and what kind of stuff they can do to help them get to the next level. And now you want to tell them to like go look at scheduling too. Like, I think that's too much to expect of them when they're not really doing the first thing.
Offense doesn't come together like that. Like, you have your, you know, opponents who you are like locked in with, like Connecticut and Maryland, right? Like, we've agreed to do a home and home kind of situation, or Connecticut and South Carolina. You definitely have those things, but then you like just have shit that just comes together organically. So I think Angel made the right decision in terms of saying, I want to play in the SEC. I want to play, you know, in the conference where the other best bigs are playing, and she showed that she can hang. You know what I mean? And excel, honestly, right? She's the second best big in the conference. And if you want to call her a big or whatever, you know, but whatever. She's the second best player this year in the conference, period. But yeah, the non-conference early stuff that isn't really, that's not even how it kind of like comes together for real.
And that's not my job. I shouldn't have to look behind you and make sure you went and got what you need. Like, hey, you the adult. You sign the paperwork. Like, go
Hey,
do
guys,
your job.
at the end of the day, just remember, I'm only 20.
I'm only 20. It's really that
Not
simple.
only that, but like I feel like when if she was even looking at the schedule, the thought process would be, I got South Carolina on the schedule, and I'm sure if you had asked Angel at the beginning of the year, she'd have been like, I'm gonna handle them. So like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, you can't necessarily blame that on the player. And the fact of the matter is, again,
I want to know at what point during the game on February 12th did her mind change?
I don't think it did.
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
No, I think that moment when Boston like got that jump ball that sent her to the ground.
Yeah, she did. Her face after that was like, whew. like the Popeyes lady. She was on there like the Popeyes lady, like, whew, I'm tired, boss.
I don't know.
Today has drained me.
But I know that one took the wind out of her, because she was like trying to back her down, and then she went up, and Aaliyah kind of just.
You remember the view? Don't make me show y'all the view again. Y'all want to see the view again?
So look, Angel bet on herself, and it
anyway.
worked out, as far as I'm concerned. Angel bet on herself, and it worked out. I don't, and I don't. Oh my God! Had she stayed at Maryland, I know that for a fact we wouldn't be saying her name as much as we did this season.
She's made herself into a star. Like,
yeah,
like she's made herself into a star. And like,
she's made herself the most polarizing player in college basketball.
But then just like she don't even want that.
I feel like it's twofold, right? Because now she's like this very huge figure in women's basketball, to the outside world, to the casual fan. But a part of me feels like at Maryland, she was working on different skill sets that she isn't doing at LSU. Like at Maryland, when they played South Carolina the last time, she knocked down some threes. She knocked down that mid-range shot, and that's what made her so tough to guard when she came there, because it made the post players step out to defend her. And when they played this go round, they sat in the paint on her. They were daring her to shoot, and she looked afraid to shoot. And I was honestly kind of shocked to see that progression throughout the year in general, because I was like, I know Angel used to shoot. Like, she don't shoot no more. All she do is drive to the rim, because now she looks a little timid to do it. And so is that like a Maryland to LSU thing, or is it just
I
like,
definitely think it's a Maryland
She's
to
been
LSU thing because
she's
look
been
at
shooting.
the type of players can Moki be having. Like, can Moki be one of her players to stay in the paint? I mean, with the
Just the
exception of
system.
Nalissa, Nalissa, I haven't really seen most of her posts, like, be out there
She,
shooting and stuff like that.
Angel has been hitting some as of late. She's been shooting.
It's the system, but it's also the SEC and like the defense that different teams play, right? They got players who could really play man-to-man defense. Like that is that's another thing. Like it's not to use a trope, but it's different kind of athletes over here. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
and
No, yeah,
That's
we get that.
the group of people in the South.
But in that matchup though, like if you're used to doing that like before, like like shooting and stuff, driving. I mean, she was trying to drive and stuff like that, but like the shooting aspect of things, they were like sitting in the paint, like Yana said. So if you're used to doing that, why not do it?
Philly and Boston, like there's a big fucking difference between those
but I just
players.
feel like somebody Emmy said, where'd the big guard go? Like, remember when she transferred?
Yeah, I'm a big guard.
I want to be a big guard, and they told me
she just meant walking the ball down in transition when she been big dog.
Literally, because she's gonna do that 1-2 dribble, that cross,
and
then that dribble back to the right every time.
He just wanted to help.
No, because I remember people were calling her a post player before, and she was saying no, like I'm a big guard. So I don't think she was talking specifically about.
I'm just saying like what makes her happy was
my overall game. But then she kind of backtracked on that, and she said she's a post player.
I don't know. She happy. I'm happy.
So it's getting confused, but okay.
Well,
I'm happy. She's happy. Maryland's happy.
She's gonna have to be a big guard.
Maryland, hella happy.
I think LaDeja be acting like she can't shoot too, and she can. So maybe it's the system.
Yeah, exactly.
It got to be the system. Yeah. We know how Moki.
And let me tell you one thing about it, Kim. Let me tell you, she not playing that right, because if she her offense, but she get 15 from Day and 15 from Angel, there'll be a much harder team to beat. But I digress. LaDeja low post moves is insane. That girl could get a bucket in the low post. Her low post moves are miles better than Angel's. But we want Angel to get 20, 25, 30 points and 18 rebounds. But I'm telling you, bro, if y'all would let LaDeja cook, I give her an inch, that would be a much harder team to beat. Instead of LaDeja.
No, yeah, I agree.
I'm telling you, bro, that's crazy. Because LaDeja in them low post moves.
It's crazy because
we saw it in Mizzou.
Yeah,
and that's why I also think it was a smart decision by Esmery to leave LSU, like when she did. I'm glad she went to Arizona, because had she stayed at LSU, she probably wouldn't have. She would have been used, but she would have been a focal point in the offense.
Yeah, they needed a bench though with Hannah Gusters leaving and the Ware girl.
Oh yeah, they did for sure.
Yeah, they got so many holes in they bench. I'm scared for them come tournament time.
Moki said in the press conference that they good without Hannah. So
they never developed any depth because they were playing Angel off
echoing, by the way, in the YouTube chat, somebody said we're echoing. And first they said it was just low, but now it's all of us.
Shouldn't be all of us.
No, I always laugh at Shay's name, Scream Latifah.
I'll listen for it. I was trying to figure out who it is.
So yeah, man, shout out to South Carolina. Look, they're undefeated straight up to this point. Like they did. That's just come on, man. Like look back in years past.
And then also
undefeated up to this point. Their players sweep the shit. That's just how it goes.
That's why I feel like people are disingenuous. Like, good and well, if it was any other experience that you would just be like, that is that. Like, don't play in my face, bro. Like, get somebody else.
And the last thing I'll say about the awards, if Aaliyah didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, it for sure should have been Bree. So like that was who was next up in my opinion. If Aaliyah didn't get that award.
Yeah, like it was never
You
gonna
let
be
him
you anyway.
start.
Sorry.
I did
You said
think
what?
that the defensive teams could have went differently. I thought that
And
what's the girl from Jada Rice from Alabama? I thought she could have made a defensive team, but she don't get enough rebounds as well. And then
she
it
began
was
in foul
Camilla. I thought Camilla could have made a defensive team, but they had hella post players on their defensive teams.
I mean, thinking about it though, like I also don't want somebody to make the defensive team just off of just getting some blocks. You know what I mean? So like I'm fine with
But if
Camilla
you
not
leading
being
in
on the
steals,
defensive team. I'm saying I'm fine with Camilla not making the defensive team.
Yeah, because Camilla fouled too much. I would give her the same reason that I used to say for Tamari.
Mm.
Like, you can't
Yeah, you
be
6'7", you should be blocking shots. You bigger than
I need
85 girls out here. More than that, but
I thought one of those Georgia girls could have made the second team or something.
I agree. But do you think,
Audrey?
especially with them, are they really
Nicholson, David Nicholson?
Are they like a one-on-one type? Because some people play defense and they're like, okay, we're just a really, really good defender, singular, whatever. Or do you think they're better like as a group,
as a whole?
Yeah,
I think it is a scheme, but some of them have the talents to where it could go anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
I'm sorry. I'm just also weak at that coach talking about she should have won Defensive Player of the Year because she blocked the shot with one shoe. Like, please be for real.
Be for real.
Like,
come on now.
Never mind.
He tweets like a fan, not a coach. Continue.
He also is like he's like the recruiting.
So one thing I do,
at work.
No, for real.
I thought Ashlyn could have made it on the SEC Freshman of the Year list. Like when no, Ashlyn didn't. But I think that when you look at the stats for all of the freshmen in the SEC, with the minutes that she gets, she's like top 5 in win shares for the team that went undefeated in the conference. And she doesn't play that much, but to still be top 5 in win shares, her stats are basically identical to Samaya Smith at LSU. And so for me, I'm like, if Samaya
and she dunked.
She did dunk too. But if like Samaya can be on there, and Samaya is very deserving of it. So if she's on there, I think you got to throw Ashlyn on there because Ashlyn was very impactful for South Carolina throughout certain stretches when like Camilla would get in foul trouble or Boston would get in foul trouble. And when LA was like kind of having her up and down moment, they always plugged Ashlyn in and Ashlyn got rebounds or did whatever needed to be done, and those minutes mattered. They were impactful. She never
was
had
steady all season long. Yeah. Like I didn't see her like seldomly, and maybe once or twice did I feel like, oh, this moment's too big for her. You know what I mean? Like, very.
But it's
and I think
it's the usage in the minutes.
I don't know where she was ranked coming out of high school last year, but listen, like I know who was ranked number 1, and I would take Ashlyn every single day of the week over her.
Who was?
Betts.
Oh.
Ashlyn better than that. She's a lot more.
Like I really wonder what goes into like the rankings in high school because I saw that Betts was number 1 like a while ago, like before she was done with high school career. I went to go look at some highlights and I'm like, okay, no.
Like, and like even just projecting really out further, like I would just take Ashlyn. Like I would just take I feel very confident in that. Like
some of that stuff is political though, y'all.
Yeah,
it's
not
a lot of that. It's not about
basketball. When you got Diamond missing out on the McDonald's All-American game.
Stuff is who you know sometimes.
Yep.
I had a question. Shariki, are you done scratching? Because did you need to go ISO on some Big Ten beats?
Oh, it's gonna be quick for me. I don't First of all, we took the ties off y'all favorite player, and she didn't play of the year. Cool, happy for her. But just know that was a 30-point beatdown. 30 points. And I don't understand Lisa's whole shady thing because, like, Maryland is the reason that y'all are being talked about as a conference on a national level. We came here from the ACC, brought the bump, brought the competition, went undefeated the first year we came in here and went to the Final Four. Of the first 7 years we've been in the Big Ten, 5 of them, we swept the conference and the tournament. So y'all was tired of getting your teeth kicked in. It was like, oh, we got to get better. And so now because you have gotten better, we've elevated the whole conference. Now you got Indiana and Iowa. Everybody want to talk about everybody. Maryland did that. We elevated the conference. We set the standard. When nobody talking about y'all as a conference on no national level till we came here. Let's be serious. So you're welcome.
I'm not sure, Gussie.
Y'all beat them so bad. Kayla said she got to come back in the 5th year.
Come on.
George,
we did y'all a favor. Rashard, you just blew my whole. I'm about to start building pool sticks again because you just ruined. Just fuck it.
George.
This is Lowe's fault. Talking about Purr again. I told you once you started, he is not
encourage him.
Now we're trying to get a fat mod.
Weirdo.
No.
He's trying to be Rashard the kid over there.
The last thing I want to say too is like I don't like her little shade about who in the audience and who not because like at the end of the day, sis, wasn't nobody at no Iowa games until when showed up. Wasn't nobody in no stands for y'all. And when she leave, guess what's gonna happen? Like we got to be a little serious now. Let's be a little serious.
It was really
that's not disrespectful to Pancake Mama. They wasn't pulling up for Pancake Mama.
Look. All I'm saying
pulling
is
up
keep
for
it cute.
Pancake.
Brenda don't do nothing but show up and coach and carry her purse. That's all she do. She do not talk about y'all.
That's it. That's it, baby.
And let transfers leave.
Okay.
I was gonna say push people out the door, but
guess what we can do that Iowa can't? At least we can recruit all Americans.
They might leave, but they gonna start
At
here.
least we can get them in the building. Who can't get them in the building?
I'm about to say. He said they might leave.
Nobody trying to go to Iowa.
They might leave, but they gonna start here.
I mean, but also
not speaking the same language.
While we are speaking,
hold on, we're still echoing.
It's not me this time.
It can't be me.
I don't know whose it is. I don't really hear it.
We're gonna have to everybody mute your mic and one at a time.
I hear it in somebody's background actually, but I don't know who.
I don't hear it this time. I heard it last time.
So is there anybody listening to the spaces on another device right now?
I was earlier.
Yeah, I hear it. I
have the
definitely got on my background right now.
I don't know.
Who is it?
But,
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I hear it.
It still don't sound as clear as other.
I hear it.
It's not me.
He's hearing the echo because it's on his phone next to him.
No,
it might. It's like Rashard, you sound muffled too.
Lord have mercy. I hear it in somebody's background.
No, you do not.
No, I hear it too.
Thank you.
I think it might be you. It's your rectangle that's popping up green.
Then that's just my camera. Like,
Great, go on mute real quick.
No, when you start talking, the thing goes green, and yours keeps going green.
Hello, echo. Y'all hear it?
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah,
boss lady.
Oh no.
Is it maybe? Is you?
Is this just your? Is it a MacBook?
Maybe it's the positioning.
I think we've gotten to the heart of the matter.
I mean, yeah, I'll refer to come back, but I mean,
I love that song.
Maybe your speakers are just too loud where it's like picking up like again.
Maybe
like,
it's
the mic.
Yeah, maybe it's too loud.
Yeah,
how about now?
I was gonna add in while we're speaking about
head out and then like come back in.
Okay.
What about now? Well, Rashard was just talking and I wasn't lit up.
Hello.
Yeah, it sounds better now.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Well, it's gone forever.
I was gonna add in like while we're speaking about Maryland, like I tweeted the other day, like I'm just impressed in like how they carried themselves this season because they started the season like really rocky and it was like a clear direction for the team, but obviously like the schedule was set before the season started, and they kept that competitive schedule. Knowing the past few years, they always got a lot of players leaving, like key players, and they look they battle tested. They finished the season out strong. They top 5 and the rankings, competing possibly for a number 1 seed. And a lot of teams could have benefited from that, like NC State, even like Oregon. Because look at Maryland, they only depended on a few players. So all these teams that depended on a few players, they could have had the same type of schedule, and
NC State
maybe
needs a new
they'll
coach.
be.
Oregon did have the same type of schedule, but
I agree with Lo. NC State need to. I'm sorry.
They need a new coach. I'm not.
It is enough for me.
I'm not here for it. It's enough for me.
I just want my daughter.
Richard, I need you to sit up because you sound like you're in a cave.
Hey, Maryland was almost out of the. Maryland at one point was almost out of the top 25, right? Or top 20. They were like hanging on.
They were low,
hanging on by a thread.
They almost pulled a Louisville.
I just want to say,
Louisville. And I just want to say that Jeff Walsh is also a scammer in a loose polo. Like I keep him away from me. Don't talk to me.
I just want to know what's the argument for Jeff as coach of the year? Because that shit made no sense to me at all. I ain't reading that dumbass article. There ain't no reason to read the article.
Okay, well.
He competed. He played against Neil twice. What happened? He lost both times. Last time without Miles for that last time. Like, you started the season. Everybody in the preseason, they had Louisville, I think, first, if I'm not mistaken, or second to win the ACC. Nowhere near it. And then on top of that, they start the season off ranked 7, and then dropped out the rankings real quick and haven't been back since. What's the argument?
Again, I can't tell you, brother. So you'll have to check out our article.
And then what killed me was that he said he had a Bang Hart, whatever her name is, and the contention for coach of the year. Even UNC didn't play up to their expectations. So it's really just Cara and Neil who has an argument for that. Because look at Cara last season, shitty, and now this season she's second in the ACC.
But none of us had that argument, so I don't we don't have a rebuttal because that wasn't our.
Good point, Sean. Thank you. I just hate seeing dumb stuff on the timeline.
Okay, well, this has been Richard's rant. Thank you, guys. Before we get to our mailbag, Big 12 obviously hasn't finished out yet, but they still made headlines this week. Yeah, so Texas lost to Baylor last night, and Rory Harmon and Vic Schaefer get in the presser and basically said, team, they ain't had no energy. It was, I think Shaylee, Rory, and it was one more person, and Vic was like, aside from these 3 people, no energy. So, obviously the discussion is, do you put your team on blast in the presser? Or do you go with the player development director?
Yeah, as Rory is my daughter. And I it was kind of wild. I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of wild. I wasn't, we didn't talk about that in the house before, it went out to the public. I understand, I guess, where she's coming from, but putting that out in the press conference, and it sounded I think the press conference went on for 30 minutes, of not just her talking about it, obviously, but it sounded like everyone was kind of just calling ISOs on everyone else that was not in that was not in that press conference. If they weren't on that stage, they were catching strays. It was kind of wild, and I understand, kind of where she's coming from, because Rory does play her ass off every game, but she also kind of did not have a good game. She didn't have a good game, at all. She shot very poor. So putting it out and just putting it out in the press conference as a whole, it's something where it's I think it depends on the relationship between her and her teammates. because it could be a make or break moment for sure, like on the season as a whole. Because like
okay, so here's why I don't have a problem with it. We found the clip. It was from a local station at the beginning of the season. You got all of her teammates in front of the camera dancing, piping up timeout, like, "Oh, Greer, can you mute? Because I think it's you again. Sorry."
I'm not even lying.
But yeah, they dancing all up in the camera, talking about how we're underrated and it's cool and da 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 da. So it's like if y'all was the main ones talking all that talk in the preseason, and then you not delivering against our biggest rival, and at the end of the season heading into the tournament when like that's when you need to be like amped up and playing your best. I don't have a problem with her calling them out because they had no problem like putting them on backwatch.
I disagree. I think like at the end of the day, Rory's on a different trajectory than all the other girls on her team. So like it's just different pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these girls are here to get this degree, have a good time in college, and like play D1 basketball. You know what I'm saying? So like this is not our job. It's yours, kind of, because you're going somewhere different than us. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you still gonna be here, like.
I don't think it's a victory. I don't think it's I think it would be probably still in poor taste if Vic was doing it, but like you are the steward of the program, right? You've recruited players to be a certain way, and if they're not living up to the expectation that you and your coaching staff have placed upon them, you can say that, and you can say that in the media. Obviously, I root for a program where a coach has no problem doing that, right? But I don't think like
bodies to prove it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear because you don't know, Rory. Like, you don't know everybody's situation on the team, like, and it's just like we're just not that good. That's just also fucking part of it. Like, we were probably, like preseason, but injuries have hit us. We haven't been able to develop the continuity. We thought we got a really good transfer in Shaylee, but she's just been like mid. Like maybe we just weren't who we thought we were. Shit.
I think the bigger issue
but you don't
is
think
the
that
I
you
know
can tell
it's
that
another.
that's the difference between.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
It was
Well, I'm saying like you don't think she can tell like it's the difference between like we're just kind of mid and like y'all aren't like at least trying. Because I feel like she would kind of know that better than anybody. Like she's out there playing with him. Like you can tell when somebody's having an off night versus when somebody is just not even really giving it their all.
Well, that just goes.
The issue is the coach. I think the discussion needs to be shaped around the coach because he got his ass out there and agreed with her. That's not. I just feel like as a coach, I mean, if you're gonna be shitty. That's who you are as a coach. But I just think Rory, her saying that to me is more about what the coach allows, about maybe conversations that her and the coach have, all of that stuff. Also, I think we should hone in on one of the comments in that Twitter thread. Said something about like you out here practicing like you got all of these people, which you're injury prone, you got this and this and this, and you haven't made any adjustments to what you're doing for these girls, what you're doing in practice and what you're doing in that. Because maybe that is the reason why the damn girls don't got no damn energy. So to me, we need to go back to what Vic is doing or what lack of thereof that even makes the girls get in this position in the first place. And maybe the conversations that he's even, because like you said, Rory is on a different trajectory and coaches see that too. And naturally, I mean, we might want to admit a coach with a player who I think is going to get in the league and show and make me look good versus the players, like you said, who kind of just here to have fun and just kind of getting it done. That's a whole different relationship. I'm 99.99% sure that was a whole different conversations as well. So to me, it falls back on Vic and what Vic is saying to her to make her feel, even have the energy to even get on her ass out there and say some shit like to begin with, and maybe take a step back of why are these girls practicing like this or doing this and doing that when they're already injury prone and only down to like 7 girls. To me, the Vic needs to be on the microscope. Rory, I won't say she's a child, but she probably taking this. I think she did as much fucking wrong, but she's probably taking the situation that she is in and doing what she thinks she's allowed to do. So I think more the issue is Vic and what he got going on.
Yeah, and Vic is known for having
because
those
ultimately
groups.
she's a sophomore. So
I'm
go ahead,
just
Craig.
saying, like,
Yeah, I was just saying Vic is known for having like gruesome practices. They run a lot.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I feel like if he wanted to go that route, then why not go recruit nothing but Shay Hollies? You mean the girl that's running a mile, and you mean a track background and things of
Yeah,
that
that's
sort.
just not his team this year.
I
Like that's
mean,
not what he got transferred in.
that's also the
Exactly.
girl he didn't give credit to, if I'm not mistaken. I think he only gave credit to Gonzalez, obviously Rory, and then the post. What's her name again? That came off the bench. Forgot her name.
Taylor Jones.
Yeah, but my whole thing, I didn't like the comment at all because obviously, like y'all said, like that's something that you keep in the locker room. But also, me watching the whole entire game and seeing how she played, you did not play well. Like, and I felt like everybody didn't play well. Like a lot of people outside of Taylor Jones, like shot well. I'm not sure like what Gasson is that name? How you pronounce her
Gaston, yeah.
name?
Gaston.
Yeah, like she played well, but she got hurt and she didn't get credit. And she came back in the game and she was changing the game up. I just feel like a lot of as a whole, the team did not shoot well, but I saw effort. Like like it was a scrappy game the whole entire game. So
That's
I
what
don't think you.
she was
I don't
saying
think
not
you
to
get
play
to.
well, they play hard enough.
I think
I think they play
there's a
hard.
difference in that. Like
Yeah,
where it's like she can play like you can try your ass off and get cooked. Like or like, and not shoot well. Like that like like I tried my ass off against Trey Young at the YMCA. He still cooked my ass. I was trying my best, I promise. But like it ain't stopped nothing. Like, you know what I mean? So like I think there's two different things. Like you can't really tie the shooting performance and to the effort.
I don't know. Even
And
with all
also
of that,
instead of him,
she's only saying what
instead
she's
of Vic,
power to say.
yeah, and also instead of Vic throwing the blame on his players, like take some accountability. Like maybe you got
That's valid.
outcoached because Baylor had a great plan and they used their speed and they couldn't stop that at all. Like Baylor was getting out rebounded a lot, and what I kept seeing was missed shots after missed shots after missed shots because Texas kept getting rebounds. Baylor just used their speed to win the game, and that's what happened.
And to my understanding,
maybe you got outcoached.
It also seemed like Roy was adding on to what Vic was already saying. And I think Rory is far from outspoken, like I don't think like she's, my understanding, like someone that's out there really like doing it. Like she's never done anything like
his lead.
It's kind of what it comes off as, and it's like, oh well, he's doing it, so let me speak my part to it and like speak kind of her truth to the situation.
What Lo was saying.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's yeah, I think that's kind of more so what it is, where it's like the standard was set by Vic that we could talk about this and like this is like what we're doing in the press conference.
Using your star player against the rest of the players.
I agree.
Like that's a huge thing.
I fully like
she's 20.
Yeah, and I fully think that Vic, by setting that standard, like, because at press conferences, like after a loss and everything, the coach gets to, like, they give their opening statement, and you can kind of get a feel for like what type of press conference it's gonna be. If it's just gonna be a real short one, that's gonna be, all right, we in and out of here. Like, ain't nobody trying to talk to y'all. Like from their perspective, or it's gonna be something like this. And by Vic setting that tone, it opened the door for Rory to go and do this, and she shouldn't have. But ultimately, I think the root of the problem here is Vic, whether it's the practices, the standards, like his statements prior that led to her following up with it. Ultimately, I think that Vic is the problem.
Yeah, I just think I hope it goes well because I had a teammate one time in high school tried to tell me that she did this and she did that. And I tell you, one time I picked a good game in the tournament. And when I tell you I got on that court and did fucking nothing, if the ball didn't drop right here in my hands, I wasn't going to grab it. And we lost by 30. And we lost by 30. And I proved my point. So she better hope she don't got no petty teammates like me.
You can already tell Vic invites her only to the house to have dinner. Like you can already tell that animosity from the teammates. You know what I mean? He probably brings Shaylee and Rory and everybody else. You mean think for yourself.
I mean, what Lo said is true. Like I've worked in that environment and I've seen it myself. Like where coach have their favorites and have very different conversations with them. Like side conversations about the rest of their teammates. So it's very, very true. Like that happens.
Well,
like,
let's
it
just
depends on
acknowledge
the team environment.
to even
said
get
what?
on a press conference and just acknowledge to even get on a press conference and even speak that way. You've already spoken like that. You know what I mean in private?
Right. Too comfortable, way too comfortable. And I
Which is
also
on
like another thing that we always see from Vic. Like I hate to see him like continuously get bucked with women like on the sideline. Like he walked all the way up, like to Nikki's side after a foul that was a play on the ball, clearly by Tyrese's daughter, where Little Bug Page or is it Page Little Bugs?
Little Page Bugs. Mm-hmm.
He
Okay,
said
Little
little
Page
bit.
Bugs. Shit.
I don't know who Little Bugs is, but
okay, by her, and like it was on Rory, and like obviously the refs felt that was a play on the ball because they ain't go, look at it, and then Vic over here going, "Oh, it's Nikki Collins," as if Nikki Collins said, "Oh, go smack the shit out of her" or something like that. It's just a player making the play on the ball. Like he be doing too much sometimes. Like it's not
more
that deep.
of his playing style. It's for his It's for his team. He's been doing that. If it was Geno over there, he would have done the same thing. Like it's to rev his team.
No, because I need to see because he done did that with the Texas Tech coach. He done did that, like you said, with Baylor. And I'm kind of tired of these niggas out here beefing with women all the time because Jeff Wall's got a bad problem with that too.
Right. And that's the point I was making. Like he always getting bucked with women. I have never seen him do that to any male coach. And it's crazy because it's like and then
because they'll fold him and he knows that.
Yeah,
guys, but these are white men. Like
I would say, I've seen them throw tantrums all over the place, no matter who they're.
And the whole thing is,
but did he go like the stuff he did with Texas Tech? Did he do that with a man? Craig, have you seen him do what he did with Texas Tech with a man?
Mm-mm.
Like it's just crazy to me. Like it's not that deep. Obviously, like I always say basketball's a contact sport. It's gonna be some plays where a player may get hit. I don't think it was intentional though. So what, Craig?
I was just saying I also don't put nothing past what's her name? I forgot her name right now. I'm blanking.
Who?
So, yeah.
Dariana?
Yeah. I don't know. I blame Vic.
Yeah, upon further review, I changed my mind.
Yeah,
but I'm not really putting all of it on Rory. I want to shout out Sid Carter for being the beacon of consistency. So you're gonna get this fit. I don't care if the locker room is literally on fire. You gonna see what I
They
put on
throwing
for game
hands in the
30.
locker room. She in the chair posted. She getting her video off.
In that
Bro, she had she got a playlist. She had the Ari Lennox playing in the background, and I'm just like, your locker room is literally on fire, but you had to show us this suit. Okay.
Say butter baby.
Seeing the intern in person filming the video was crazy.
That's insane, especially like when everything is going to hell.
Yeah.
They in the huddle. Excuse me.
Gonna be making.
Yes, I looked to see who was filming these videos.
Out in a 13-4 upset in the tournament. Gonna get the fit off when you lose to Florida Gulf Coast.
Nah, for real.
I'll tell you right now, Texas' biggest thing right now is like they just have so much size and depth at size that no one in the Big 12 can match up with them. So like if they go against any team that's actually like capable in matching up with their size, like I have limited faith in them to actually make it through anything.
I also feel like some of the like frustrations with Texas is that like obviously like they're high on their team. Like you see that they were ranked very high early on this season, but like now, like looking at the team now is not the same team that you had to start the season. Obviously, people said that they got like 7 players available. So like you got 7 players that's injured, 2 players that starters. Obviously, there's a lot of production that you got gone now. You got Shea Harley starting, and she's really just known to be a scrappy player. Not really an offensive weapon, just weapon on defense. So maybe some frustrations is from that. Like, like damn, like we just went up to like 12 because some of these players do be looking at their rankings like, and we just got smoked by I wouldn't say smoked, but we just lost to Baylor, who was. But I mean, right now y'all equally kind of like at the same level, looking at the players that's available for both teams.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have questions from our wonderful audience. Thank you guys for sending these in. Except Jessica, you're a menace, but she's chill right now. So this first one is for Greer. As a rational and realistic UConn fan, how far do you think this iteration of the team can get in the NCAA tournament? And how much does that change if AZ and or Dorka come back? Ooh.
So our
Wait,
current
can we
is
phrase
without
the
AZ.
rational and realistic real quick? I like that.
Rashard,
Rashard, I think
you?
Greer was asked the question.
Oh
No,
my
I wasn't answering the
God.
question. I said I
Greer,
wasn't answering the
Greer,
question.
Greer.
I was saying, can we
Hey,
phrase
Greer,
the
go ahead.
rational and
Hey, Greer, what were you saying? I would love to hear this
That's
question,
so rude.
to you,
I'm
Greer.
reclaiming my time, Shard. I'm reclaiming my time. Okay, so the current iteration is 6 players, or well, actually, now he played our 3 bench players the other day. So, I still don't think very far. If AZ and Dorka aren't playing, I think the streak is in serious jeopardy. But with Dorka playing, so she'll get like a week off here almost. And then if AZ's coming back like at the end of the Big East tournament, listen, like you think I'm rational, baby. I'm on the Kool-Aid heavy. Like I think we're gonna be in Dallas if
The
AZ's
bar is
back.
in hell.
Yeah, if AZ's back, I think we're going to Dallas, and I'll be there with my shit on. Period. Yeah, I think you think I'm a lot more rational than I actually am. Like I'm bleed blue. Like the Kool-Aid is blue.
I said, make sure you got that committee.
Because you done said go. We done heard you talking about go Cox a number of times. I don't know. You had the
Yes, I also think the Cox will be there. I know the Cox will be there.
Greer was waving a towel at CLA.
I have no
took a
damn
picture in front of the statue. Like,
But no, the hospitality was great in South Carolina, and I look forward to coming back there again. But
Caretta's a UConn fan too, and she was waving her down. So
who was?
Continue.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm still like I'm 10 toes. I think if Dorka and AZ are not playing, I don't think we're gonna make it to Dallas. If they do, I think we are straight up.
Hey, so
Dorka and
we're all being rational.
Yeah, I think AZ's close. Because she's warmed up the last 2 games. And then once she gets the little braids, then we know she's playing again. So and look, like right before she got hurt again, like it looked like feet, right? Like
it did.
and she's coming off the bench in I think in those couple of games, and like it completely changes the geometry on the floor. Lou can dribble a lot less, get a lot easier shots, which I'm sure she's begging for at this point in time. And then Aaliyah, keep plugging away, doing what you're doing.
That baby is tired, baby. Lou is tired.
Tired, okay? Like ready to snap on everybody. Because the girl literally did nothing.
That baby tired.
Xavier did nothing, and Lou was like, I fell and I am fucking pissed.
Yes, she that baby tired.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I feel good if AZ's back and like ish. Like just the presence alone is enough to have some teams like shook.
As long as they have to respect it, then like it's a
And
completely different. Yeah, it's a completely different element, completely different team.
Next question.
So we've established that Greer is the rational realistic. I'm not. I'm his biggest hater. Please send me that picture y'all made where it has like Candace Parker, Rike, Pat, and like everybody like laughing at him, because I'm gonna use that. I want everybody to understand what's going on, and this is about trolling Geno. Like, time to pay the piper, big dog. Sorry. I'm going to his funeral. Sorry. So if someone could send me that picture so I can save it and have it ready to go for March, I would greatly appreciate that.
I really hope Georgia is in y'all's region because Coach Abe and Geno was a
battle.
I love that.
In battles, right? Because she transferred from UCF to Georgia.
That whole team is there at UCF, Georgia. So
yeah, it really is just damn near the same team.
I want that. I want that again.
Never know.
All right, next question.
I would not, for AZ's sake, I would not like that matchup. You know what I mean? Like that's the definitely the kind of team you re-injure yourself against. So no.
Okay, next question.
Nika and battles. For sure. Sorry.
You ready?
Yeah, I was reminiscing.
Do y'all think? Hey, please. Do y'all think more high-profile players will use their COVID year like Caitlyn said she was considering?
Sadly, yes.
I don't know.
Yes, because when you look at, and I hate that this is like an expansion thing, but as long as the league stays, no, it's true. As long as the league stays small, the amount of spaces are going to be so limited. So if you can make money on a fifth year and cash an NIL deal, why on earth would you go into the league to risk getting cut because you were the fourth best player in your draft, right? So, you know, I do think it makes for a better college product because we keep getting people with familiar names and brands. I think it sucks for the records because all these records are going to be crazy tilted now that you have all these 5-year players that are going to be in it from start to finish. But I mean, unless you're a top 3 pick in the W, you'd be crazy to not come back for a fifth year because I guarantee you'd probably be making more in college off your NIL deals than you would going to the W right now. Even Larry said it. Larry from the Dream. Literally the owner of the franchise. Someone asked him on Twitter, would Caitlyn make more if she came back? And he said yes. And an owner in the W said yes. That should tell you a lot.
I almost wonder, I guess, so I you have players like that, but like for someone like Holmes, who said that, you know, she's staying. Because if she stays, like, she's entering in with the presumably like a potentially loaded draft class. Compared to, like, if she goes this year, it's a lot less stacked. So I guess like that's where like I'm interested in seeing like how things kind of play out, where it's like, because if I'm choosing between which draft class I can go into, if my goal is to make a WNBA roster, then I'm going to this draft class, not next year's.
Oh, because I still think I think Mackenzie Holmes obviously was an outstanding college player this season and last. But this year she took it to a different level. But like for me, if I'm a talent evaluator, like, you know, I look at her projection as like maybe a better Meg Gustafson. So like, what is
and
that?
And that's kind of what my point is like if I agree with that.
Bloomington be a fucking celebrity, the queen of fucking Bloomington. Like that's a good life. That's a great life.
Ask Stetson Bennett.
You gotta look at like roster construction and roster spots. You got Diana Taurasi eating up $8 million of cap space because she won't go home and be a family woman. So it's like if I'm a rookie and I'm watching all these old folk, like, and then you know you see first round, second round draft picks get cut, like what's the point?
Yeah.
So I'd stay too.
That's valid.
Listen, I feel like everyone in this room right now, if you could go back over to 18, like, you know,
I was gonna say,
and kind of get a do-over, come on, it's a no-brainer. I'm doing it 100 times out of 100.
And I'm going to do the same thing I did the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. 2 years ago was crazy. I do not want to go through COVID again.
Well, that my time was
different.
Yeah, y'all be easy, man. I'm gonna stay here. I ain't going through that goddamn pandemic again.
You haven't seen what's on the other side. So if you're in college and you can stay in college and be cared for in college, do that shit for as long as you can.
I'm out of here.
The kid's face and he's like, "Stay here, don't go."
Yep. And we're gonna see you in a year and a half, and your face is gonna be a little more. You'll have your stubble or whatever, and life will just beat your ass, and you'll be jaded.
Wow,
and
you guys are making me. You're making me really excited for May. Actually, thanks, guys.
We're trying to warn you, and you're not listening. And this is your problem. You're 20 and you're hard headed.
Damn, man, my brain's still developing. Relax, I'm only 20.
And as soon as it fully develops, you'll be like, "Dang, I should have listened." All right, guys, put your arguing pants on because we have a lengthy question. Who do y'all think is winning it all in each conference? Who's getting upset in the March Madness tournament? Now, before we get started on that, I have some notes. Yana said Miami versus BC in the ACC title game.
I stand by that. Let me hold on. I gotta look at the bracket and see if it's still possible.
Oh my god!
Wait, Shawnee, what was the question again?
The question was, who do you think is winning it all in each conference, and who is getting upset in the March Madness tournament? So Yana said Miami versus Boston College in the ACC title game.
No, they're going to play in the second round potentially.
Yeah, it can't happen because they play in the second round if Boston College beats Georgia Tech. So, I have to change my stance. All right,
The
give
universe
me
didn't want
Syracuse
it.
and Miami, baby.
BC and Syracuse?
No, I said Syracuse, Miami. Let's go.
All right, Miami versus Syracuse.
I do see that Louisville and Notre Dame have the potential to meet again. So that's nice.
Oh, I want that.
That'd be fire. Shay said Miami is winning the ACC.
Hell yeah, Shay. Let's go.
I
So we're
mean, look,
standing by that.
I like their path. I like their they've got to beat the winner of Boston College, Georgia Tech. And then Virginia Tech, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, not improbable. The Gringo Gonzalez twins.
The Gringa Gonzalez twins.
We're riding them all the way.
On the bingo.
Los Gringas.
And their private some of their private dinners.
Oh, man.
But
We really overrated them, didn't we?
if I have to make a serious pick, I actually think Virginia Tech's gonna win.
I think that's my pick too. I think I'm going with Tech. Because we haven't heard anything about Miles, right?
I'm gonna go with Notre Dame if Miles is able to play. I'm not sure what the status of her injury is, but if she's able to play, then yeah. Because when Virginia Tech did go against Notre Dame, a big part of them winning obviously was Miles, but then Ebo, and I feel like Kitley kind of folded against Ebo, like in terms of the physicality aspect of the game. And then on top of that, looking at how Virginia Tech started playing towards the end of the season, like in terms of like numbers, like who they play. Obviously, not using Owusu, they're using players that we didn't hear anything about throughout the whole entire season. So they go on like what, 5 deep, really, like with like players that they actually used throughout the whole entire game. So I think Notre Dame, if he's back,
Do
if
ACC
not,
teams go deep in their bench?
do a lot of them do? I mean,
They just give it to their star guards and ISO.
Yeah, I mean, you say that
Duke be
like
using their
every team in the
Duke,
ACC goes in their bench.
not every team, but I'm thinking about actual teams that may like win it all. Like low-key Duke be going deep into their bench. Like they'll be having like 4 or 5 players playing off their bench. And they beat Virginia Tech in the regular season. So even Duke, if not
also only scored like 45 points on Sunday. So
129 of those in like the third quarter.
I don't care about Duke right now.
I mean, that was a terrible game for sure, but overall, Duke had a good season. They did beat Virginia Tech. They gave them a good fight, so I think they could do it again. Assuming both teams make it that far in the tournament.
I think I kind of agree with y'all with Miami being the dark horse. I think it'll be one dark horse as in Miami and then one favorite. So either Notre Dame or Virginia Tech. Or Duke, I guess.
I mean, and yeah, if Miami could play like they did last year in the tournament, then we in for a show.
We still haven't heard anything about Miles, though, right? Like it was, like she went to the doctor and it was like they didn't have any results yet.
Oh, no news.
I mean, they'll probably get something. They'll probably get something in the next 2 days. They probably waited for her to get back.
Yeah,
to get back
I'm sure they'll wait till closer to the game, like if like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, how much do you risk it so close? Like, it looks like it looked like a knee injury. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it looked like a knee injury, and the knee is very sensitive. He wasn't able to really put weight on it, And this is a quick turnaround. This is a tournament where you got to play back to back to back. You play on Friday. If you win, you play Saturday. Then you got to play Sunday. And then you get a little under a week of rest to go straight into March Madness. So
I just drooled. Go ahead.
So how much are you willing to risk that?
Is it good, Lo?
That shit hitting, huh?
My dog hungry.
No, I'm not hungry. I'm trying to eat these Skittles before I be asleep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, get your sugars up. But yes, Yana, it's that weird time of the year where you gotta like really assess the risk and what you have to gain. Because yeah, I mean they could make a deep run, or they could get
I saw
upset.
something where NC State was just thinking about shutting Diamond down until March Madness. Like, granted, I don't really think they have a chance in the ACC tournament, so I feel like
might as well.
Yeah, but you know,
That's a heck of a time to be coming back and trying to find your rhythm and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond can do it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of pressure, and I don't trust West Moore to put her in the best position and like alleviate.
Yeah, I ain't
some of
worried
that,
about
so
Diamond. I'm worried about everything else on that situation.
Captain Bowl Cut. But while we're still on that same question in that same vein, Tyler, you said Oklahoma is winning the Big 12. So I mean, you have a week. You still have a week to be wrong, but
yeah,
you said it.
Yeah, I did, huh?
You got
You
to
did.
say.
It's right.
Yeah. You wrote it down, huh?
Big East. Who do we think is winning the Big East?
Villanova.
Has their schedule come out?
It's UConn.
The tournament schedule? I mean, it's UConn, but has that come out yet?
I mean, it's also dependent
I didn't see
upon
it.
like who's available for them. I feel because like we just saw UConn lose to what St. John's, and then they lost to Marquette as well. And then
I don't care who they got. They're gonna win. Them was one off. I don't
Villanova. I believe to win it.
Beat
I think Marquette and St. John's are in our side, So I don't even think we'll play Villanova at all.
Okay, and then
They
also
might beat each
like
other to death before they get you.
They just beat Xavier by what 9 points.
So I feel like I'm not concerned about the first game for UConn. It's the third game. Like, I think they make it to the championship game, but it's that fatigue that worries
But
me.
the toll, yeah.
Because the losses that, like, one thing I've noticed about a lot of UConn losses this season outside of the big one versus South Carolina, especially towards the end of the season, they all came after a big game. Like, that big game versus South Carolina, and then they had to turn around and play Marquette, who was a physical team, and then they lost. Then they play this big game versus Villanova, which I'm sure they were like mentally prepared for. They played great. They turn around and lose to St. John's. And I think a lot of that has to do with the quick turnaround, fatigue, the mental toll. And so I do worry about that third game for them, where it's just like you're playing.
Actually, I'm wrong. It will be Creighton or Villanova for the final. Yeah, it will be. Well, that's their potentials. Could be Seton Hall.
Go ahead,
be
Yana.
I mean, that was it. I just worry about the third game for them. I think they make it to the championship game. I just worry about where they are physically and mentally by the time they get there.
I'd pick UConn.
Luckily, I think that just because it'll be the other team third game too, they'll still be able to figure it out. But I think they're just better.
And it could be their. It might not be their third game. It might be their fourth. If it's I doubt it.
Right.
But,
I think if the other team is in the same boat, I think they're fine. I think they're just better.
Yeah.
So if you had the opportunity, when would you break the glass on AZ and Dorka? Like if they're available, right? And it's like we can hold them and let them rest for one more game. We can put them in here. We can put them in there. When would you break the glass?
Semis.
Fair.
Shit, I'd play them in the first game, but limited minutes.
I was gonna say you
Like,
might just try and
if
ease
they're
them in.
available, I'd play them.
It's Butler and Georgetown. I mean, I don't know what our margin was when we played both of them this year. Georgetown, I know the last game was a lot closer. But yeah, we also we're not in a position where like we can afford to not build continuity. So yeah, that's a good point.
I was gonna say, because didn't Geno just say, like, that's the immaturity, you sleeping on people, and y'all don't take them seriously and don't be mentally prepared. And look at what you use, like, it's Georgetown. What? Big Ten, who do we think's winning? I think Maryland. Maryland, Iowa in the finals.
I think this might be Indiana's moment. Because we've given them flack, and I specifically have given them flack all year because
I wrote that down too.
There's a known unknown of like we don't know who they played. Like their marquee win was North Carolina, and North Carolina's been pretty up and down. They're a top 25 team, but how much more about that do we know? Maryland is going to be the first Elite 8+ battle tested team that we will see them play this year. Because I don't think Michigan is that team. I don't think Ohio State's that team. Maryland is that team. So if they get by Maryland, in this setting, in a championship setting, then I think Indiana's who we think they are. But I got faith that Coach Pixie Cut. I got to think of a good term here for Coach Morin.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to win.
Pixie Cut Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
Maryland and Iowa have the potential to meet up again in the Big Ten tournament. So,
yeah, they meet in the semis if they meet. Yeah.
Okay, so then that.
I mean, I also
Indiana
think
and
it's
Maryland.
dependent upon it. I think it's dependent upon like who's healthy for Michigan, because they were missing 2 starters the past few games. I mean, they've been missing a point guard since like the 29th of January. So if they got everybody back, they could be a team that could make it to the finals and win it all. But it really depends.
One thing, Rashad gonna push light skins. He gonna push his light skins. Whether it's Baylor.
No, I'm not even.
Not the colorism. Not the colorism.
First of all, I never even said Baylor was winning the Big 12 tournament.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Also, I mean, like, if I vote for Indiana, does that make it any better? Like, I'm so confused. Like, who's in the Big Ten? Like, if I pick Indiana, it looks crazy. If I pick
Ohio
Michigan,
State.
looks crazy.
Quarters.
But I mean, it's really. I don't think it's like one set team. But if I'm going based off like how the season played out, Indiana. But then on top of that, like you saw how Maryland finished the season off, so maybe Maryland.
I think Iowa's gonna take it. Write me down for Iowa.
If Iowa does, it's considered an upset to me because Indiana,
I agree.
I think is gonna like hit their stride. I trust Maryland. I think they're in a good groove right now. Iowa's got to like get it together. So I think between those three, like one of those is your champion.
If it's not Indiana and Maryland,
hello right now. You know what's up. Your sister knows. Your sister. Your daughter knows she got a 1 seed to obtain.
Well, yeah.
I think
but it depends
Maryland
if she
could
played the
do
red
good.
team.
Maryland could do good, but they got to keep it up. Like if they keep on the level that they're at and build upon it, they can.
They're gonna
They
be
just can't backslide.
If Maryland makes their way all the way to a tournament win,
but sometimes they play really, really good, and some games are just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. If they're able to build that momentum, like through this tournament and win going into March Madness, listen, man, that'd be scary.
Hard to guard because every one of their guards has a /F afterwards. Like they all
Like the /F.
They're not the biggest, but they're not the smallest either. They're all tweeners.
That's true.
My type. That's my favorite.
I am interested to see how the Iowa Maryland matchup goes, the rematch, or I guess the third one. Because Maryland kind of beat up on Iowa kind of beat up on Maryland the first time, and then Maryland made it close in the end in a way. They still lost by like 14, but then Maryland turned around and beat Iowa by 28 on Tuesday. So
this is tiebreaker.
I am very curious to see how that matchup goes.
Over the last 3 Iowa games, I've noticed that her counterparts have upped their game. So that's
or is she playing in the system and not doing the most? Which one?
Kate Martin slip her cookies up with these feet.
Everybody, they don't have but they don't have the opportunity to step up if Caitlin doesn't do a better job playing within the system.
True.
She is the system.
No, that's the damn problem. That's why they don't win shit.
I feel like you read me on the team, so
ultimately not my problem.
I feel pretty good about Indiana though. Even after watching that loss on Sunday, I still think they're the better team. Just because like even throughout that game, Indiana got the shots they wanted. They got the looks that they wanted. Iowa sometimes had to do some crazy shit to get a really good shot off or something like that. And kind of towards the end of the game, I felt like Indiana was really getting in a groove, but the refs started calling very favorable calls for Cesano, and it really just kept the game going back and forth. It just felt like every single time Cesano like flopped, they were like foul, and it just kept it close. And now that last defensive shit that Indiana did, they need to go back to the tape and watch that shit, because I don't even know how you let Caitlin Clark get the last shot off, but overall,
they ain't let her do anything. She got it off.
Well, watching that play, one player did trip up, like, running after Clark.
I know chips, whatever that was.
I mean, like, even then, when you see the screen coming, I'm like, I'd rather toss that shit in, like, go ahead and lob that shit to Cesano before I let you pass it out to Caitlin. I'll switch.
Yeah. Do y'all think Sarah Scalia can ease into a third rounder?
Sure, if you wanted to.
Third round draft pick?
Yeah, third round. Maybe with a big performance in the tournament, we'll see.
You want to go to training camp?
Regardless,
I think
she could get.
I think she's a solid shooter.
Training camp contract.
True shooting percentage.
I mean,
she's one of the best besides Taylor Robertson, but I don't see Taylor Robertson's athleticism going to the next level. And so I'm like, I'll take Sarah over Taylor, but 2 generational shooters for sure.
I mean, she's a shooter. Yeah. She get a training camp contract, but it ain't guaranteed with a third round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say she'll stick on the team just to get seen, just to get some eyes on her.
Okay, we got some more questions to get through. So, Big 12, who do y'all think's gonna win?
Don't know. It hasn't started yet.
I mean, like, the tournament. We still know the teams that's gonna be in the tournament. We still know who looks like the favorite.
Yeah, but it's still hard to,
I think it depends on matchups though with the Big 12.
I agree. I think it's a matchup thing.
For example, if Oklahoma's on the same side as Texas,
so you might fuck Kansas championship.
Okay, we'll revisit. Pac-12.
Utah. Stanford.
I think Stanford gonna get it back.
Stanford ain't going, baby.
Here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that game. Utah, that was the first men's or women's sellout at the Huntsman Center this year. That was one of the first sellouts, I think, ever in Utah women's basketball history. So put them on a neutral floor. I think Stanford is a better team. Looking at the bracket, the upset's going to come with UCLA beating Arizona. I think that's going to be your second round upset. Oregon has to win to get into the tournament. I think if they beat Washington round 1, they're in. Oregon, if Van Sluten's healthy, may give Stanford a fit. Could be. But the fun one's going to be that 6-11 matchup. I think the messy upset, Oregon State might pick off USC before they go play Colorado. That's my
Shay! You're lucky Shay gone.
Andrew, so you said Stanford's issue was it was too loud in there? They're not used to that? That's what happened in Utah?
Shawnee Greer, you were in Maples. It's a nice parlor in there, man. They do golf claps when they hit
hear
big
a
shots.
rat pissing on cotton in Maples. It's crazy.
I could have got some studying done.
Yeah. It is.
Sorry.
SEC.
Silk?
I know it's
Silk, is that
Kentucky. You know, it's Kentucky's tournament to win. You know, respect the reigning champions.
Nah, be for
Kentucky
real.
has a tough time.
Nah, be for
I
real.
know they're at the in the last matchup, but who do y'all think is winning SEC?
South Carolina. They coming for that. I don't care what they say. And that little post game presser, and they was like, last year. I don't believe them. They coming for that.
And I do think Don does a really good job. It's like every time we get a break, they turn up even more. I don't know what she be saying to them. But they be like, they'll have a break and just turn up even more, and she'll throw something in there that you like, girl, what is that, honey? And they be hooping.
Guess that's why she the coach of the year.
Hey,
I do think LSU. What I don't want to happen to LSU though is, well, this is what I don't want to happen. Don't want to happen to. I know she's probably in her head about all of this. I don't want her to start pressing too hard and end up fucking up. Like, I just want her to trust herself, trust her game, who she is, you know what I mean, and just hoop. I don't want her to get to this place where she feel like she got to do too much, because if she start doing too much, it's gonna mess the whole team up. So I don't want her to do that. I just want her to hoop. And I really do think Tennessee is a dark horse.
I think Tennessee could get
I was gonna say Ole Miss.
I think Tennessee could get beat by Alabama in the tournament setting, neutral floor.
Oh, of course they can, because they be bullshitting. But I think if Tennessee hoops, I think they can make some noise.
I think a lot of those Friday matchups have potential for upsets, except the one with South Carolina. I ain't even gonna lie. No, like Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Like, I really think that could end up being a really good game, or Ole Miss could win by 10 to 12. LSU and Georgia. It might not be Georgia. It could be Auburn, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Georgia. So if it's LSU and Georgia, there's a lot of bad blood there. And like, it wasn't like Georgia was hooping. They were fine. They found ways to score versus LSU. And so that could be one of those on neutral setting. If LSU's not getting those 20 free throws in a game because of the PMAC curse that be going on down there, shit might get weird. And like Craig said, Tennessee and possibly Bama or Kentucky or Florida. If Bama's knocking down threes, it could get interesting. So,
and that last point is why I don't think it'll be too many upsets. It's the second part of this question where he asked who's getting upset in the tournament. I think first couple rounds, like we saw with Mulkey and Jackson State last year. We saw with Texas A&M and Troy. Like, you at home in the first 2 rounds, you're most likely getting out. So I don't see too many upsets.
Iowa didn't.
That was later.
Nah, Iowa lost at home, didn't they?
God dang it.
They lost at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
I think even then though, I think it depends on matchups. Like, there's certain matchups where there's some like top 16 seeds where I'm just like, I don't know. If y'all get the right team, it can get weird in your city.
We'll dive deeper into that after conference play is over for everyone. Next question. Do y'all think LSU on the 2 seed line falls in the second round or the Sweet 16? Will that prompt the committee to reevaluate the non-conference schedule? Y'all think LSU?
No.
In the second round? I don't think
not second round.
Oh, if they fall in the second round or fall in the Sweet 16, will that prompt the committee to reevaluate the non-conference
I'd hope
schedule?
so. Yeah, I would hope so.
What you mean by reevaluate?
I don't think. I think for the first, like, non-conference schedule has always mattered for them. This is the first year where they're showing these signs of it not mattering, and I feel like that has more to do with it being LSU and Kim Mulkey versus it being just some regular old team. Like, if this was any other team, if it was, say, Princeton again, or if this was another team, we wouldn't be having this discussion because they probably wouldn't even have a top 16 seed. I think there is more push behind what's happening with LSU because of who their coach is, the attention that their team has, and I also think their crowd. Sometimes when you can pull in a big crowd like that, NCAA is about money. If you're trying to get, those home games, money, like where are we going to get money from? Who's going to bring in those big crowds? And LSU is one of those teams.
All right, y'all know I was high on LSU at the beginning of the year, but my thing is that
you were.
Super.
We remember.
They're still high in my rankings. So my thing is that if they're going to be high in my ranking, and their opponents, there has to be somewhere in their opponents in the SEC that is not getting the credit that they deserve as well. So with LSU being so high, I feel like there should be another SEC team ranked, or maybe it should be 7 teams. Projected for the tournament? In a sense, I don't know.
It sounds like based on that last reveal they had, it sounds like they are very high on the SEC. Granted, they only have 2 teams in the SEC hosting right now, but they're very high on Tennessee. They were saying Tennessee's a team that they've been considering for a top 16 seed to host. So, it's really not them. It's more so everybody else.
Because I do think Auburn, or you mean an Ole Miss or Mississippi State, there's a lot of middle ground in the SEC. While the floor is the floor, the middle of the chunk of the SEC is pretty dangerous.
I think the problem is sometimes the middle and the floor I can see where it kind of gets blurred. It's just a mosh posh of bullshit. What I said last time, a mix of bullshit.
And so they were trying to pick Arkansas and Mizzou up, but I feel as though Mississippi State, maybe a Georgia, well, I guess they're below. So I don't know. We'll see how many teams get in the tournament.
Next question. Do y'all think SC finishes undefeated? Yes.
Yes. Next
question.
Yes.
Do you believe anybody has made good use of their COVID year as an increased draft stock or really improved their game? Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, who's entering right now? Who's entering right now? It's like
I feel like Ashley Jones should have went last year, but I don't know if
she did the opposite.
Yeah, she didn't use the best. Like, I don't think she used it well.
Littleton used it well.
Yeah.
Littleton. He's over here. All Pac-12 team. Littleton Destiny.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm unique.
Oh, and shout out to her.
Or unique Thompson. She should have stayed at Auburn. She not.
Oh my god!
But
her and my daughter.
Was she drafted last year or the year before? It was like the year before, I believe, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, year before.
I just know Joni could have used.
I mean,
who even are the COVID seniors? How do
I'm trying to think right now, and I can't think of who it is.
Everything's just so.
Yeah, I'm trying
there's
to think.
Bad seniors, and then there's COVID seniors. I don't even know.
Wait, is Grace?
To me, they're like the
but
same.
She got injured. I mean, Grace low-key got injured, but she's doing the same thing she did the year before. I still think she could be, like, before the injury, first round I saw her, but after injury, she could possibly slip to the second round, but I can see a coach taking her in the first round. I mean, a team taking Grace in the first round. So I wouldn't necessarily say she made the best out of it because she got injured, but it's not her fault. She didn't see herself getting injured, but
I'm gonna say Mimi Reed from St. John's just because she came back to be UConn for extra years. So
she did better than who was it? Sonya Morris that made that video.
Yeah.
It was like they gonna have to
chance.
She got hurt. Wait, is she?
Well, at least she got the dumb shit.
Right.
Is she out for the season, right?
No, she's not out for the season. She's still being evaluated day to day.
The kids got what does Muffin say? Keep it cute in the pressers. Like Shawnee, your kid. What?
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Let's get into that real quick. Because Rashard's been trying to pack me up and he doesn't understand. Like, she played the role of a white villain during Black History Month. Like, you cared about that because you wanted to see her lose. She brought in some ratings and then she Nielle. She brought Nielle closer to God. Did you see how many Bible verses she was letting off after that win? Do you see how happy that team was? She brought Black joy. She
I cannot
added
believe you're
to
crediting
the
a white
legend
woman
that
during
is
Black
Olivia
History Month.
Miles. He let Nielle, do her thing, and somebody had to be the villain, man. She took the fall and set up for a great story. So I don't know, man.
Those air
I feel
balls
like
during
you can't
crunch time really sealed it too.
Yeah, those air
You
balls.
gotta do what you gotta do to make it happen. Commit to the bit.
No.
My dog said we don't lose on senior night. Hell no.
Either way,
Oh
it's
yeah.
Jeff.
Speaking about Louisville, Morgan Jones did not make the best of her extra year. Like I don't think it helped her
Maybe
draft
we'll
stock
end
at
on
all.
that one. We still got more questions, Richard. I'm sorry. Who has benefited from enrolling early so far? Chloe, I guess.
Nah.
Cody McMahon.
Prosper.
Cody McMahon.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Chloe enrolled early.
Yeah, she's enrolled
last
a
year. And I think you can definitely see it in her play this year. She just she's a freshman, but you can tell she's kind of like been a part of the program and
practice.
Prosper for Notre Dame. I think she's done some really clutch things for them.
Yes, closing game. So
defensively,
she was there 2 months ago.
Yeah,
Closing game.
Yeah.
There was one more, but I forgot.
Okay. Well, if you think of it, go ahead and say it.
My bad.
Can Utah sustain their offensive output throughout the tournament? I don't see why not.
Yeah,
honestly,
I don't see.
I feel like their style of play is not.
But that other girl, Neepkins, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cold. She's cold.
Game. They're like the kind of players like they can play to their 45 because they just are smart.
Yes,
like they just
like that rec league, unsuspecting,
100%.
sneaky athleticism.
Them your favorite kind, ain't it?
She's sneaky deceptive with her athleticism. It don't look like she's doing much at all. Next thing you know, no, literally.
They're pretty sound, so I mean, yeah, I feel like they can keep going and at least maintain. Now, can they how that looks against other people?
Yeah,
we'll have to see. But I think that they can maintain. Will UNC come together like you did in non-conference, or slash the middle of the
Aren't
conference?
they dealing with injuries right now?
Yeah, something. Just burnout. It's a lot of burnout from all over.
Well, everybody gets a little break before the tournament starts. So,
if they can get healthy, then maybe. But even then, I ain't buying it.
They never had a post player, so it's always kind of.
I don't think they're built for the tournament. They're I ain't buying that. Yeah, 100%.
That's why I was saying some of these SEC teams need to be in the tournament just to enforce post play. But that's just me.
Damn, so just put him in just for that.
Yeah, that's because it's a more physical game, and that's what we came here to see.
Oh, okay.
You two fight.
Literally.
And
we all know they don't call shit in March. I said we all know they don't call shit in March. Or either you mean it's too many calls or it's not enough. So bring the Pac-12, bring the SEC.
Will more than 2 number 1 seeds make the Final Four?
Yes. No. Hold on. More than 2? I don't think more than 2 will. I think 2 will.
Yeah, 2.
I don't think more than 2 will.
And we don't know who they are yet. I mean, South Carolina's making it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who they are. South Carolina and Indiana. That's who I'm betting my bets on.
I'm gonna write that down. We think that only two number ones
I'm really
making
high on
it.
Utah. I'll say South Carolina and Utah.
Utah not gonna be a 1 seed after Stanford win the Pac-12.
But we have to wait and see about that.
We have to.
Stanford or Utah, either one of them are not going to be a 1 seed after this weekend.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree.
Especially if Maryland can
still
win versus like Iowa and play possibly like Indiana close or something like that. I think you have to put Maryland as the last 1 seed. There's no way you don't.
If Maryland does enough in the Big Ten, like if they have enough momentum to be a 1 seed, I would be terrified to play against them in the tournament. Like if they win the Big Ten, like there's not a team I'm trying to face at all.
I think Maryland. If you don't have a good athletic big, sure, but I think if you do, I think that kind of ends their party.
Yeah, I mean, like Maryland isn't like to me scary. I think they're playing well, but Ohio State certainly had a chance to win that game. Ohio State just did a bunch of dumb shit in the end. Yeah, but Maryland's playing well right now for sure. Not like scary well though.
Joe Nordhoff Beard, shout out to you. Those are some great questions, and we appreciate you tuning in. The homie Sean Hill, can y'all touch on these comments by Geno? Do you agree or disagree? It's the one where the players aren't what they used to be. The coaching ain't what it used to be either. I don't think we coach these guys as well as we coach some of the other guys, and that's evident when you watch us play on the floor. We look like a poorly coached team.
Take that, man.
Will brought it up in the chat. It's 100. Like, yeah, you can't even coach the way you used to. They don't practice like they used to. That's a fact. It's a lot. Like, I think practice time is like half of the time it used to be. I mean, but then yeah, like talent is more evenly distributed. But yeah, we just do not. It used to be right the standard. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It doesn't matter what they like. We are not going to play below this level, and we certainly stoop to lower competition so much more than we ever have before.
Yeah, that used to be like one of the things that I really, really loved and hated because they were so dominant. Yeah. But it was like when I would talk about what I wanted from like South Carolina's team, I'd always say I want them to go out there and play their game. Like they're playing down to the other team's level, and that's why it ends up getting into this messy, ugly game. But if you literally just go out there and play your game and know that you're just better than them, and then you just dominate from start to finish, like that's what used to make that UConn team so impressive, was that it didn't matter who they were playing, they played the same way every single time, and the results were the same every single time. But I mean, I agree with Geno's comments 100%, not just UConn related, but just across the boards. I think you see it with a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches have been struggling to figure out the best way to coach the newer players versus.
You see the lady from TCU said, get somebody else to do it.
She said, I'm done. Like, fuck this. Like,
but also
this is the perfect time to find somebody else.
But also thinking about Geno's comments, if I'm not mistaken, I felt like it was about his team, his current team right now. And it's kind of hard because, like, all right, like you're missing how many players? And if you had all these players healthy, then UConn wouldn't be in the predicament that they're in now. Like, I don't think they would have struggled as much as they're struggling right now. So
that's what I think. He's talking about mindset, though. Like,
yeah, because it's the turnovers. It's the turnovers when nobody else is making us turn over the ball.
And it's like it's a mindset thing. And if you've been around, like, if you think about it, you've been around a program where you've had just dogs. Like, you've had DT, Maya Moore, Tiffany Hayes.
But Lou is not DT, though. But I feel like I get the standard is the standard. But
when you're around that and you know that people are capable, because I mean Paige is very similar to that as well, but she's injured. But when you're around that and you know that that's capable, and now you have players that just don't have that mindset of, I don't care who I'm playing, I'm finna just go out here and Like
I think what she's
level.
saying is they don't have that caliber of talent. That's not Lou.
Yes. Yeah. Lou is not gonna do what DT do, no matter how. Like, she could be all the dog she want to be.
But I'm
Lou
not
is a
talking
great
about
player.
talent wise. I'm just talking about mind. Like from what I heard from Geno, it wasn't just talent; it was mindset. And I don't think your talent.
I'm saying like if Greer was just saying like playing down to the level of competition. Like I feel like if you have essentially role players playing outside of themselves and then expecting them to do that every single night, like I feel like there's gonna be some drop off at some point because like you're already getting all that you can because you're missing your star players. You see what I'm saying?
But my thing, I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all heard this because I just took my contacts out and I left the phone a little bit. Do y'all think that Geno is like placing the blame on everybody else? Could he adapt and make something shake?
I think he is because he's been doing this for a couple years.
On himself too.
You said what?
He's placed some blame on himself in that conversation that he was having, and how he he's not doing a good job of preparing them and coaching them either.
All right, so I feel like if you know that, then everything else null and void.
That's what I'm saying. And then, like, we've seen he's been in this grouchy old man mode for the last couple years, right? Like we saw how he talked about Ono's class in those pressers and was calling them girls everything but a child of God. But then we see Ono go and play for Derek Fisher and ball out. So that's where I'm kind of like, I think he kind of got complacent in having like the GTs and the Stewies. So it made things a lot easier. And then he could talk like, if Stewie's having a bad day, or if DT, you can talk to her crazy. That's what motivates her. You can't talk to everybody like that.
This new damn generation.
That's it.
Bunch of Gen Zers.
But I think because I think on the other hand, I think he's incredibly proud of like the adversity that they fought through to still, win the Big East championship outright and, whatever. Nika doing the assist thing, breaking the assist record. So I think like on the one hand, like very proud of them just being resilient and figuring shit out. But it's the turnovers, it's the mistakes. It because it eats me alive watching it. So I know if you're on the sideline and you throw it to just nobody consistently, there were games this year and stretches of games where we had 20 plus turnovers a game. Like that. Yeah,
is that because like Lou is? That's what I'm saying. Like, is that
a lot of them unforced shots? So many of them are unforced turnovers. Like literally passing it to no one, just making a pass that a big cannot catch.
Drake said, "Bench players talking like starters. I hate it. Started from the bottom. Now, nigga, we made it. Maybe you got bench players talking like stars, and that's just not what their language is. And maybe that's
and
just.
I also think like there's something about prior UConn teams, like again, like just chasing that standard, like they were like measuring themselves against prior UConn teams, not like their current peers.
Yeah.
And
the bar is so high. Like
that just doesn't even Paige and AC playing like for the last 2
it's not
years,
fair to yourself, like to even start with that being the standard.
I didn't feel like, oh, we're here to be the best ever, kind of. I didn't feel that energy. Like whether or not you get there is a whole different discussion. But just like this is our goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't feel that
from them.
I'm here for the legacy and the warm-ups, and now you want me to be DT. Like, no, that's not what I signed up for. Yes, I'm gonna turn the ball over. I'm so sorry. But how long do we think Geno has? Because like these comments are getting more and more old man yelling at cloud by the day.
I think he's just tired, and maybe the next couple of seasons he'll be gone. Like when Paige and AZ leave.
Well, I think next year he's turning 70. I think.
My God,
dang.
Huh?
Damn, you old.
Yeah, I think next year he's turning 70. So
aging. Big fans of aging over here. We didn't mean to come off as ageist just now.
I did. Y'all old. Everyone is.
Yeah. Just because you 12.
Yeah, so maybe it's just like some stress from that, like not necessarily like or like he's stressed because like he's aging, but like he
I
just
mean,
don't
he did
want
go
to
through a
coach.
parent's death this year.
Right,
Yeah.
that's crazy
And
too.
like he had to take some
It's a
time
year
off
for
from
him.
that, but yeah.
No,
And
yeah,
did he get
So,
sick
but
too?
I'm
Like
just
after that, is
saying.
that what happened?
Yeah, before and after.
Damn. Yeah. He's
No,
had a
yeah, and I'm
year.
just
Like
saying. Yeah, I understand. Like he's like, yeah, he is getting older, so like maybe he just don't want to put like as much energy as he did with his previous teams when he was younger,
I doubt
because
it.
he
He's a
understands
competitor.
Yeah, he put a program
But
like
I
that.
also think
It's
like
just have daily coach.
I also think like it's gamesmanship too, right? Like you say the things that you know your team is gonna respond to, you know what I'm saying? And like he's a master at that. So like, you say like, I don't know if we have enough to win 3 games in a row or blah blah blah. You say things to like, light that fire under your team's
motivate.
ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
But my thing is that he's not like the same thing that we were saying about Vic. He's not saying it to them. He's saying it to the press. You mean the report, the
I mean,
journalists?
that's always been Geno though.
Yeah.
Like Geno's always been like that. Even when like I think about Stewie and them class. I think there was like one game where Stewie and them did like something terrible. Like they just started off the game really bad, and he like just benched them for the whole
And you
first
went out
half.
quick.
And at halftime, they asked him about it. He was basically like, "They're playing like shit. Like it's awful. Like blah blah blah." And then they came out, and I felt like Stewie had like 30 points in the second half. Like it was. That's just Geno. That's how he coaches now.
Yeah,
Is
and
this
I
team going
also
to? Is this team going to respond well to it? I don't
Yeah,
know, but
we
that
we
is.
can't
and
be
also
surprised.
like with
If
and
it's on
also
a.
if you
We can't be surprised if AZ gets on a conference and start saying the same exact shit though.
But that's the thing. That's the difference I see between like Vic and Gino. Like, and like based off what I've seen, I haven't seen a player on UConn come out in the presser and like bash their teammates. So I feel like there's a difference there as well. Like,
So
I
not
don't
in
I
even
don't
know
think
every.
AZ
UConn will
talk.
ever do something like that. Like that
Yeah.
was just messy. Like, and even if Gino is having those conversations with players, certain players on his team, I don't think we'll ever know.
Okay. Well, once again, we thank y'all for really, really good questions. We
Yeah.
appreciate those. And if all hearts and minds are clear, we'll be on playback. We're figuring out some scheduling. We'll
If there's
also
any
be in
games
Green
that y'all
Bay.
want to watch specifically, tweet us and let us know for sure when it comes to conference tourney stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to build the schedule out. So if y'all got key matchups, y'all trying to see, say the word.
Hey, and get Rashard back on stage, Mr. Back to Back.
Yeah, who is he?
Back to back.
Y'all let me and Sean
Okay.
run a whole game together. I couldn't.
Yeah, back to back. What Brandon said, back to back, Shorty.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, our accolades, our rankings were posted, and I feel like in a roundabout way, we've kind of touched on what happened this week.
Yeah.
So, if all hearts and minds are clear, we will see y'all next week.
Get your merch.
Get your merch.
Get your merch.
Grr.
Ew.